Hello there, dear listener. We hope you're enjoying this lovely discussion. If you're not already aware, this show is part of a podcast network called KWAZ Radio, a Pan-African Nationalist and Garveyite network come to showcasing the rich and varied thoughts of African people. We have an exciting lineup of shows that we think you'll enjoy, including
Victor Medicine Podcast.
I think black people require too much violence. Like, we constantly have to sell black people on things that are beneficial to black people.
The Pro-Black Perspective Podcast.
I'm sure that our people are not really studying how to get ahead, you know? And they're kind of, continually staying behind.
The Harsh Reality Podcast.
It don't matter. I think things are so dumbed down. It wouldn't matter what you reveal to them. They still are in the matrix. They in the simulation. They're going to keep doing what they did. They limit. So it don't matter.
The Learning Curve Podcast.
Sexual access has never given you economic empowerment. The only person who has ever been economically empowered by a sexual relationship is the WASP and businessmen.
The Cathedral Chief Show.
We have enough to fight for home. I guarantee you they'll stop doing what they're doing. I guarantee you they would have let that brother go. They was waiting to see what black folks was going to do.
From the Batari Podcast.
Black people love to claim folks that don't, that hate, right? They'll say that, and they are ashamed of who they really are.
The Podcast Radio.
Like, if you pray to the same deity as, like, your enemy, and that God blesses your enemy more than you may want to reconsider who you pray to, you know.
And Tarzan, African Mind.
Because generally, awakening of everyone, sometimes to my consternation, I think that they should be less,
If you love our podcast network, we would be grateful if you could rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out our website at www.kwazradio.com for more information. Thank you for tuning in. And now, back to the program.
As far as I can tell, only 2 white people read my book. One, a college student, and the other, their professor. The professor praised the book as neatly organized and undoubtedly convincing. He then gave it 1 star, saying his peers won't mess with it. Every real African gave 5. Have you read the Book of Power?
Alright, fam. Peace. Give me 2 seconds. Let me try to hit some people up. Let me try to give some people this link. I just realized I don't even know how to do that. I ain't gonna hold you. Matter of fact, let me do it this way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get this link, and I guess I have to send it to myself or something. But, as a matter of fact, I'm going to put it on Twitter. So, let me just tell everybody in Twitter how I'm going live in a bit. Other than that, thank you for joining me. I just want to link a couple of people. Well, not really a couple of people, just one person. And no, it's not who you think it is. It's not who you think it is. I got a nice ladies feeling down, so I say, well, you're down. Well, why don't you just get on. Why don't you listen to the podcast? So I bet. So let's go into it. How you doing, fam? Hope you're well. Let's today we're gonna really discuss. I think this whole last 2 weeks, I've been talking about gender. Honestly, I'm at that point in my book where I'm writing about gender, and so it's when you're writing about something, it becomes one of your concentrations, if you will. So let's see if I could give you guys a screen to look at. Boom. This says the YouTube comments are not loading. I'm going to look at obviously there's no YouTube comments, but I'm going to get the YouTube comments loading. It's a little complicated process. Basically, I just got to copy this web link into my OBS. So I got to switch over to the OBS window, change the properties, change the URL, press OK, and then now you have it. Revolutionary Matron's here. She says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to the sister. Peace to the fam. I think this is my last podcast for the year. And then it'll be next year because Sunday is New Year. So hopefully I can join you guys in the AM that time. Although I think that we're going to be celebrating the New Year's on Shoot the Breeze. So make sure you guys check out Shoot the Breeze. Matter of fact, last week's was pretty interesting. Toward the end, Brother Bakari started calling us cowards. And, Koku was saying that I'm flip-flopping. But I don't know if you guys know, but I got literature going way back. Like 2010, 2013, or whatever, right? Saying that a large part of how we are motivated is fear. Or a large part of how white folk want to motivate us is fear. And so, I think that ultimately, there are people who surrender to the cowardice and people who rebuff it. But, realistically, if you say that people are fearful or cowardly, it's correct. I think it's correct. I don't think it's waffling. And the thing is that you have to also realize that a lot of people are fearful. I like using the word fearful now because that's you guys heard the ad. That's what I say in that. But a lot of people are inspired by fear, and because of that, there's a problem. Hold on a second. Let me just clarify to my. All right. So anyway, so what were we talking about? So I don't know. I can't really go too far back. I guess I could. I don't remember where's the last thing that we saw. Oh, let me this stupid thing. This is a good quote too. So this is just some stupid video. Let's see. We got Bitter Medicine Podcast. Make sure you guys check out Bitter Medicine Podcast. Sugarcane and all that stuff. So we're just gonna scroll through the TL. You guys see I got a new ad. So this is where that ad came from. As far as I can tell, only 2 white people read my book. One college student, the other their professor. The professor praised the book as neatly organized and undoubtedly convincing. He then gave it 1 star, saying his peers won't mess with it. Every real African gave 5, right? And so this is the thing the guy wrote, the white boy. He wrote, this book came at the recommendation of a student while providing a neatly organized and no doubt convincing treatise. Unfortunately, any academic can dissect this easily, as it is laden with historical inaccuracies. There simply is no true peer-reviewed evidence of many of the claims within. So, and the thing is this, the book is mostly, the Book of Power is mostly articles, primary sources. It's not, Dr. Clark said this, it's what Dr. Clark wrote, It's not, Amos Wilson said this, it's literally what Amos Wilson said, So it's I don't know what this guy's talking about, but it is what it is, right? And then, this right here. So this right here, now I don't know how far back I should go. I don't know what I covered last time I was on the podcast. And that's a shame about it too. Last time I was on the podcast was 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't go last week because I was working a 60-hour week. Okay, now look at this paycheck after 60 hours, and it's like, yeah, I might become a socialist. You know, like I might just become a socialist because I'm just like, damn. I mean, it was a lower position than I had before. You know, and so I feel like it was the same damn check I would have got from a 40 week with the old position. You know what I'm saying? Like with the old position on a 40-hour week, I would have the same damn paycheck. But I didn't work 60 hours, you know, under some folks. So I might just go the socialism route. But I'm just messing with you. Sorry, so this woman just told me it's a long story of how she was kicked out of her last apartment and the landlord took some of her things. Guess what, man? That's a red flag. Big ass red flag. Read into the sob stories. Do not just sympathize. And that's just a generality about, you know, sometimes I just say this woman said something, you know, just to say whatever. But the reality is this: a lot of people are going to come to you with sob stories. Okay? A lot of people are going to come to you with sob stories, and you got to realize, hey, you know what? That sucks for you, and move the fuck on. All right? I don't mean to curse, but just move on. Okay? Women, men, whatever. The reality is this, and this is why it's really important that we start to embrace a new ideology. And like I said, I'm really writing about it. But you have to get a belief system that stresses savings. Okay? You have to have a belief system that stresses savings. Right now, most of your belief systems do not. Now, obviously, if you read between the lines of, you know, some of the Abrahamic faiths, you could glean savings as a meaningful enterprise. But that's if you read between the lines. Most of us are not reading between the lines, and because we're not reading between the lines, we're largely a people without savings, and depending on the ideology that you have, you justify not having savings one way or the other. You shouldn't. Get your savings up. You know, a lot of people are like, hey man, I can't get savings up. Oh man, look at this inflation. Oh man, look at this. Oh man, look at that. You know, oh man, you know, it's because of racism that, you know, I can't get savings. Oh man, you know, one time we saved from the bank and then the bank took all our money. Oh man, you know, whatever it is, like anything justifying why you should not have personal savings, get rid of that. You know, the socialists, problems that we're underpaid and therefore we so on and so forth. Anything justifying why you should not have savings, get rid of that. One of the most important things you could teach a person is to teach them how to save their money. And a lot of times, you know, like my brother right here, we got Gnostic Initiate right here. A lot of times, and he's going to mention something here too. A lot of times, it's the man. Like a man would be spending his damn money on drinks. Okay? And we're going to go into a commercial. Not a commercial. Or maybe a commercial. I don't know. We're going to go into a little propaganda piece from some Asian country where they say, hey man, stop fucking drinking. And here's the thing. The Arabs are telling you the same thing. Stop drinking. Just stop drinking. And the thing is this. It's not so much that you shouldn't drink. It's that you're wasting money on drink. If you have the money to drink, that's different. If you do not have the money to drink, if you do not have the money to smoke, you know what I mean? Like George Washington was smoking reefer. But George Washington was the richest American on the richest American on the planet. Okay? He was the richest American on the planet. And you know, this is why I kind of want to write a book on the wealth of nations. Like really, like just take out some passages and paraphrase it, because in that book he does talk about the difference between conservatives and liberals and how they view religion. And he's like, hey, you know, one of the things that religion teaches you, you know, one of the subtexts is that it teaches you when you are poor to stop wasting money on drinks and women and smoke and drugs. When you're poor. And rich people are like, hey, you know what? I could spend money on women, drinks, and drugs, because I'm rich. And so he's like, yeah, it's attractive to the poor because it's like, hey, this is how you know, it's godly to it's heavenly. It's divine to not waste your money on other things. And of course, you got to read between the lines. But anyway, that's a big little introduction. Big little, right? Let's see. Any more comments? Hey, why don't I have any? I'm looking at the my top chat, and it's like it doesn't even show. Well, we got Revolutionary Major in the building. We got 2 people. If you guys could drop a like, that would be appreciated. If you guys want to show, if you guys think. So we got this. Next one is Tyler. It says, bad stuff always seems just to happen to them for absolutely no reason other than just being a good person. So he's talking about this red flag story. Yeah, I mean, because like I said, man, like a person is going to tell you something like, yeah, I lost all my stuff. The landlord kicked me out and took some of my stuff. And it's like, what did you do? Like, why would somebody, you're literally paying their rent. You know what I'm saying? Why would somebody you're paying their rent to kick you out and take all of your stuff? Do one of the most illegal shits on the planet. Let me guess, you're in New York, right? Which is really hard to evict somebody in New York, right? So they're going to go out their way to evict you and possibly lose money and all that kind of stuff and rob you in plain sight while you know their address, everything. Why would they do that to you? And I'm not siding with the landlords or what have you. I'm just asking, why would somebody do that to you? What, like it goes back to the Boondocks where it says, what did you do to make those people that mad? Like, what do you do to make those people that mad? And they're gonna do looks like a fucking crime in plain sight. What is? Oh, this is a video of a man shooting his own freaking face. We don't want to show that. So I'm thinking the mobile game should be an RPG board game. So I'm starting to work on that. It is whatever. This is the brother Esteban Lukumi. He likes posting historical documents, which is pretty interesting. This one is about how black women back in the 1600s in Benin City were dyeing their hair, black, red, green, or yellow. Sometimes even dyeing one half black and the other red, which is, again, the assumption that human life began in 2020 is one of the problems that we have, Like black women were obviously doing a whole bunch of things, and black men were obviously doing a whole bunch of things before the advent of the internet, before the advent of literature, and that's another, paradigm that we don't really adopt. We tend to think everybody's living kind of simple lives up until, and it's like, no, like people were braiding their hair in intricate patterns, people were wearing really, affluent dresses and living in apartments, honestly, and what have you. It comes from, like, I think these sort of things are really interesting, obviously, but it kind of comes, like, the interest kind of comes from ignorance. It's like, oh, I didn't know this, but like, why don't you know that your people were stylish before you were before you arrived on the planet? Like, why do you feel like you're the one who invented style? But anyway, this is a video of some, I guess, Indian guy making juice from sugarcane. A lot of people in Africa tell you about these. They're like, hey, I want to get a sugarcane machine. And you're like, okay, cool, But it's like sugarcane is literally, like I was saying, sugarcane is like the first crop I've ever seen, And a part of me feels like I should go back to Jamaica sometimes. So this is a comment. I can't remember what this was too. Let me see what it was. I just want to make sure nothing was thing. Oh yeah, so black woman, old ass white guy, right? I didn't even want to show this, but I guess I have to, right? She's pretty in the face, I guess, right? But obviously that's an old ass man. So this guy Pete Mitchell, this is kind of the masculinist camp, which is not, like, I kind of try to tend to stay away, but it's kind of hard to avoid because most of black men are on that, And we have to get into that conversation about black men and the masculinist tribe. But anyway, 30-year-old black man, 22-year-old woman equals, ew, you're a damn pedophile, right? And of course, I want people to understand that's not a pedophile. Matter of fact, they started calling this one dude a pedo recently because he was like, I think he said that some 17-year-old was attractive. And like, that's not a pedophile. And I get it. I get when people start making that distinction. I think I used to also call people like that pedophiles. But like, you know, if anything, that's an affable file, they would say. But not just that. It's like, it's not like he's sleeping with the woman. He's just saying that 17, like he would wait a year. And it's like, I don't know how old he is. I'm not saying that I would say that, but I get again, I'm not saying I would say that, but I'm not gonna say, oh man, this dude's a fucking pedophile, you know, like because as a person who has a child who's like 8 years old, right, I could see somebody looking at a fucking 8-year-old and being like, oh damn, you're a nasty ass pedophile, right? Somebody looking at a 17-year-old, I don't know how old they are, like again, you know, like again, and then here's the thing, it's like you got the 80-year-old white man and a 22-year-old black woman goes. Now, see, that's the thing. It's like, this is a huge ass age gap. You know what I mean? Like let's say you're 22, the girl is 17. Obviously, legally, you would wait. But that's about it. You know, it's not like it's a huge, like this 80 to 22. That's clearly a huge ass age gap. You know, and then like, you know, but again, it's like a different conversation, honestly. And it's not one that people can have at this stage of global maturity. You know what I mean? So, you know, 30 to 22, that's not like, again, you know, the assumption is that this 22-year-old woman is old enough to make her own decisions, you know? And of course, she's still old enough to make decisions for an 80-year-old white man. It's just really awkward here. You know, this could happen organically, you know? Like, and there's also the difference between like a dude like going to a high school looking for a woman to date versus like a dude just randomly meeting a woman and not knowing that, you know, she has a year, you know, she has a few months to become 18 and make her own independent choices. And I mean, like I said, like in those circumstances, you would, if you were so inclined, like if you met somebody organically, whatever. But anyway, so this was a comment that was really important. I mean, again, you know, this is a tough conversation, only because of how we are. Unfortunately, it's how we are raised to think about the question. You know what I mean? Like essentially, we are raised to think about this question in such a way that a man and a woman are, when they're 18, they can make decisions for themselves. So we're thinking in the paradigm of like individualism in a sense, right? And we're thinking also in the paradigm of the labor market. You know, we are like in the subtext of it all, we're saying in a labor sense, right? A woman should be able to work, right? And because a woman should be able to work, she should be left alone intimately, right? Until she's of the age to work. You get what I'm saying? Like until she can make that choice of whether she wants to work or whether she wants to marry. And so realistically, you just don't want to pressure, you know, children essentially, right? But you don't want to pressure teenagers or whatever into an unproductive lifestyle, because we would prefer that they can choose to be productive members of society. And it really goes back to, because like the 18 line is really, oh yeah, okay, you're out of high school and now you can work, you know? Now, and again, that's a really nuanced and complicated conversation. So what I usually would stick to is you don't want to have a tremendous age gap, you know? Now this age gap is kind of big, but this age gap is huge. Like 80 to 22, it's gross. Like at some point it becomes gross. So this is the comment that the sister, or I don't know if I should say sister or not, but this is the comment that this woman made We got Brother Bakari says peace and black power. Says why men don't understand there's a difference in an older man dating a young girl he want to manipulate and a young girl dating an older man where the relationship is benefiting both of them and they both are aware of what type of arrangement they are agreeing to. Now in retrospect, I kind of see where she's going at. I don't really know, but this is gross. Now, she's saying it's mutual benefit because she's basically saying, hey, a woman should be able to sell her ass to a white man, right? Whereas, I guess the assumption is that a woman is not necessarily, like you could also be you could be a broke white guy who's just taking advantage of a woman. I don't know. I don't really care. It's kind of weird. Bit of Medicine says the math is backwards, and I didn't really know what she was trying to say at the time. I still don't, but this idea of mutually beneficial is really like how you should approach dating. And that's actually a way that we don't approach dating. Now, is it mutually beneficial to sell your ass to somebody? No. You get what I'm saying? Like, no. Is it mutually beneficial to like that relationship that they were talking about is mutually exploitative. So it's really like what she's putting as goals is a bad relationship. We got Brother Bakari in the chat. It says peace to the chat. Peace and black power. So peace to Brother Bakari. But yeah. So anyway, so that's pretty much it. So let's say men really be different though. Allegedly the African American invented modern art. Oh yeah. So this is a picture of modern art. Sometimes I'll be writing crazy shit on my TL. I'm not gonna hold you. So this is allegedly a video of a woman who's taking a picture of a piece of art, and then she walks backward and she knocks it over, and then after she knocks it over, she walks away like nothing happened, and then on display is that vase that was broken. And allegedly this is art. So somebody said this is a part of an exhibition. The recorded scene of a girl knocking over a vase plays on repeat above the display of broken pieces, contemporary art. And so I think I pointed out that somebody said the Americans invented modern art to show how the Soviets didn't have free art. And so I'm just like, give me what the Soviets had, please. But anyway, it's not important. And so this is actually important right here. Do not approach Pan-Africanism or life in general empty-handed. What do you bring to the table? A pretty face. Well, sit with the children, right? And this, maybe I could actually see if there's any comments on it. We got 2 comments. We got Brian O, it's pretty good. He says real talk, and we got EM says Pan-Africanism forever. We never forget these people, right? But like, this is the thing. It's like you're like, hey, it's even in the context of the conversation yesterday. So in the conversation yesterday, Brother Bakari was, I didn't know it was really, he was posing a hypothetical, but let's say he's posing a hypothetical, right? He says, hey, look, what if we had a black majority state in America? Like what could we do with that, right? And most of us were kind of like, I don't know if that's even gonna happen, but like, as a hypothetical, it's like, yeah. Well, in a hypothetical situation, what could you do with that? And if you had all the accoutrements of a state, like what kind of damage could be done, right? Now, here's the thing. I realized too, because I've not like at some point, like 4 years ago, I was told I'm not an American, and I agreed. Like I really have no roots here, right? So my thinking is, and I think Koku kind of set up the conversation where he was like, "Hey, look, the immigrant people don't even say anything really. Just give it to the people who have roots here, right? Who have established roots in the South." And it's like, that's what it is. At some point, you got to realize when you're in a like when you get into a conversation, you got to bring something to the table. And that's the thing that a lot of us like a lot of our people, and myself included, don't bring anything to the table. Maybe a pretty face, maybe some clever words, but we don't really bring anything to the table. Brother McCarthy said he joined the church today. We don't really bring anything to the table. And so, me personally, I do want to finish my book so that I can say, hey, look, this is what I have on the table, right? And even that's not as much, because like in the conversation of what would you do if you had state power, right? I'm empty-handed on a state power conversation. I'm empty-handed. You know? Because, see, Brother McCarthy would say, hey, look, if I had state power, I would, I would bring my Navy, you know what I mean? I would bring my, my Army. I would bring my my Air Force, right? Now, hilariously, my brother Black Steel said, why don't you store in a Green Lantern ring? Which is pretty funny. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, because it's like, whatever. But it is still like, yeah, you should bring something to the table. And like, even on that joke of the Green Lantern ring, it's like, yeah, if you had a Green Lantern ring, and obviously this is a little nerdy, but if you had a Green Lantern, bring that to the table. Like if you had a Green Lantern ring, right, then you could sit at the table of what should we do with this state? I mean, this is just, consistent with the question. What should we do with the state? You have all this, now, obviously, Green Lantern ring is fake, obviously, right? And I think that's what the joke was for Black Steel, right? That whatever. But the thing at the same time, it's like when you have something, when you have a bargaining chip, and this is the thing that like we don't get. Earlier in American history, not every brother praise the Lord, not everybody could vote. Okay, not everybody could vote. And it wasn't just black people who couldn't vote, and obviously they couldn't vote, right? But it was white folk without property who couldn't vote either, right? And a part of that reasoning behind, oh well, you can't vote either, and this even goes back to ancient Greece's democracy, right? They're considered the parents of democracy, right? But the reason why they couldn't vote, part of the reason is because they didn't bring anything to the table. Now, a part of it is also this: they have no risk. They have nothing to risk there. They have nothing to lose. I was one time. I don't really watch Nollywood movies, but one time I don't remember if I was dating some woman and she got me watching it or something. But I'm pretty sure because I wasn't watching it by myself. I think. But there's this movie. It's supposed to be some historical drama about Nigeria and some revolution that they were trying to do. And essentially before the revolution starts, right? If you were interested in being a part of the government after the revolution succeeds, right? You have to sign your name on a document, on a pretty much a declaration of this is why I'm fighting, right? And when you sign your name on that document, right, you're pretty much in the game. Because if you guys lose, right, that document is going to be discovered and all of you guys are going to hang together. And so I don't remember how the story goes. I think that the protagonist didn't sign the document and the revolution failed. And then he watched the people that were trying to get him organized on TV getting shot by the government that stayed in power. He watched them on TV getting shot down, execution style. All of them just, back to back. But it's like, and I'm not saying that, you're putting your signature or something, bringing something on the table, but you joining in on the risk, you having something to lose is putting something on the table in a sense, right? And a lot of us, we're not risking anything in well, not, I don't want to say all of us, but like kind of like a brother Makari said, he's going to join the church because he lives this life. It's a risk. It's a risky life for him. You know what I mean? He's doing the work. He's thinking so forth. But I could tell you guys already, I'm telling black folk to leave, to repatriate. I'm establishing a life, assisting a wife in Africa. Okay, I'm not like me personally. Like I you could say I paid my dues at one point in time, and I did become more pessimistic. I do want to leave and start a life in another country. And that's what I tell people to do. Now, obviously, not everybody wants to do that. Some people want to stay in America and fight the good fight. And in that sense, it's like, yeah, it very like I really shouldn't participate in conversations, and a lot of times I don't. A lot of times I don't. I do not like if the conversation comes up. I do not put any input. Like if like sometimes like if I'm on forecast, or if I'm sometimes even on Brother Bakari's show, I'm like, hey, let the Americans talk about it. Like let the Americans figure out how they're going to take over America. Me personally, I'm gonna leave. You know what I mean? I'm trying to leave. You know, and I mean it's not the best thing in the world, but it's like, as pointed out, a lot of a lot of people, like I said, I have articles where it's like a lot of people are motivated by fear, and so what you need to do in order to gain victory here, I feel like is more complicated than what you need to do to gain victory elsewhere. Like part of me feels like I'm already like pretty damn established in Africa. And it was very, very easy. Here in America, I'm not. Like here in America, I'm not. And it's like the experience in Africa is so, like I tell you, one time me and this woman, Brother Carson, where's the link? Well, I'm gonna finish the presentation first, and then sign off. No. I'll see if I can do it. Hold on a second. One of the things about America. Oh no, when I went to one of the smaller cities in Tanzania, we were there for a few days, maybe like a week. But within 2 days, everybody knew who we were. Okay? Within 2 days, we were the gossip because we looked like foreigners. Like we looked like people from other sides of Tanzania, right? We were the gossip of the town. Within 2 days, to the point where I think this woman. I was like walking, like I was looking for this woman, and I was just passing by stores, kind of looking in, kind of looking out, but like I couldn't see this woman. And then she's getting her hair done in one of these stores, and they're like, "Hey, your husband is outside." You know what I mean? We're there for like 2 days, and they just happened to figure, hey, you know what? 3 foreigners. This guy is obviously looking for her, and like it was awkward. Like it was awkward. Cause like even if you were to just like strike up a conversation with a random woman, they're like, "How's your wife?" And you're like, "Wow, okay." But anyway, so it's just like there's just something about real life. But I think I'll try to give Brother Bakari a link. Although I don't want to be here too long because I already know that this podcast should be pretty damn long. Let me see if I could find a link. And by the way, it's not just for Brother Bakari. Everybody could join. It's just nobody ever does. So let's just see if I could. But let me just give. I'm gonna get to. Is it Meet? Is it Google Meet? Yeah, it's Google Meet. So I'm gonna have the link ready. Create a meeting for later. Start it. I'm gonna get the link ready, but remember this decision. Okay. All right. Y'all heard that? That's a. All right, so I'm gonna put the link in the chat, but we don't have to. We can think. We can wait for a second. Sorry. So that's pretty much it. So he says, look over the code. I looked over the code for my app. it plays music. Next puzzle is to find out why it plays music, and I finally found out why. But that's not that important. So the panties. Oh, it says who is your target audience, right? And it's like the panties, Pan-Africanist, African Nationalist, Black Africanists, and not the trannies, the ADOS, FBA, anything but Africans, Black xenophobes, Ascari, and then the African Americanists, Bit of Medicine said that I kind of ball like this guy. I'm not gonna hold you guys. I was in high school. No, I was in elementary school, and I did this. Like we were, how in elementary school they have 3 classes at gym or something like that, and then one, they split the classes in half, and then you're pretty much up against your classmates, whatever, and so each student is called up to play, basketball and sink in, you basically make this makeshift team, and then you're all supposed to just try to see how many balls you could land, and what have you. And when it came to my turn, everybody was kind of hype, oh yeah, Oni's gonna perform, and I pulled this move right here. I just didn't play basketball again. I mean, I did play it again one time in high school, and I got stomped by some little Asian boy, and I just said, "Yep, never gonna play that again." So yeah, that's not that's literally why I quit basketball. Anyway, so like I say, this mofo had me working overtime, waiting for Friday. Finna just got paid, and I have a little money to burn. Yep. And no, I didn't even have any money to burn. It was crazy. But anyway, it is what it is. Let's go to the next one. He says, so these are the songs of a good woman. I like to cook. I like to clean. I like to please my man. Okay? I say, look, boys, these are the 3 songs of a good woman. Listen to them and then profit. That's what a good woman would tell you. And then here's what a good man likes to tell you. He says, look, I like to exercise. I like to have savings. And I like to buy presents. Those are the 3 songs that a man will tell you. A good man will tell you. And I say that knowing that I do not say I like to buy presents. Now women will tell you, hey man, why don't you buy me a present? And you're just like, well, what the fuck am I buying you a present for? You know what I'm saying? But that, F am I buying you a present for, or even F am I buying you, am I trying to please you, right? Those, I realize in America, you have a lot of selfish lovers. Okay? I realize in America, you have a lot of selfish lovers. And I realize I shouldn't be showing this screen right here, but that's a meeting chat. A lot of selfish lovers, to the point where, I personally, I'm so turned off from, America. And I mean, more so, I say, because like I said, I was in this, I'm in this custody situation, right? Have custody of my child, because basically I want to go to Africa. Like I told you guys, I want to, go in and out of Africa as I please. The U.S. court or the U.S. lawyer is telling me you can't do that. If you have a child with an American, America's actively interested in that child having limited mobility. Okay, America, and we're going, not just limited ability. Well, basically, one of the pretext is this. They say, hey, look, unless the mother or father has some sort of drug problem. No, even if the mother or father has some sort of drug problem, we believe that a child should have visitation rights, right? And so they have this document, I think it's called the Hague Convention, right? And they're like, we don't want a parent moving out of the state with their child, let alone, because it could impede on the visitation, let alone the country. But if they're going to move out of the country, that country should be a Hague signatory. If it's not a Hague Convention signatory, we don't even want, like that child should, that's their legal justification. So the Hague Convention, let's see if we can find that. Yeah, Hague Convention. So this is the 1899 1907. So just take a guess at which countries existed in these years. But basically this is the the countries where this deals with child abduction. And I don't know if you guys saw that when I was typing in. They were like, "Hey, convention, child abduction," convention. But like, yeah, just take a gander at just guess which countries are. So you see countries, International Child Abduction Center, and so it's like, are these convention states? And so I don't know, but like you scroll down, maybe it's possible. I don't know, but Tanzania, yeah, no. So basically, on that merit, they don't want you in the other countries. So I think I just heard somebody click in. Yeah, Brother Bakari. Peace, Brother Bakari.
What's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think so. Wait, speak again?
I said, can you hear me?
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to see if they can hear you.
When the people in the chat hear me.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, what's up?
I want you to know that y'all ran me to Mount Ephraim, man.
I ran you where?
Y'all ran me to Mount Ephraim.
Mount Ephraim.
AME Baptist. Mount Ephraim. Baptist Kojic.
So how was it, man?
Oh man, I found me a brotherhood, man.
Oh, for real?
Expect them to talk about. I will and join. Praise the Lord.
Ah, damn, man.
Black Steel and people like that, and I don't dislike nobody, man, but I don't dislike nobody. People think I'm mad. I wasn't mad at the person. I'm mad at them damn ideas, bro.
No, look.
I am literally mad. Well, black people can't be themselves winning. I ain't gonna even go in on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want that's because what I'm talking. I don't want what I'm saying to be misrepresented. But when you can't see yourselves winning at all, I literally see why everybody can come to the black neighborhood and control black people. I literally see why, bro.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing that I realize. A lot of us, like most of us are inspired by fear. Like a lot of people do not want to admit it, but a lot of black people, including the conscious folk, are afraid of this white boy. And we kind of dull over that. We kind of hide over it. But like really, like when I was really deep in American politics, like that was one of the observations that I made. In fact, I think I have an old article on it. I think I can show you guys. But like yeah, like the idea of fear. Wait, what is this? Oh, yeah, the idea that because I think some sister was telling me one time. She said she saw that she heard she heard screams at night. And it was a little black boy, and he was getting beat up by the police. And what happened was that everybody, like the community, kind of came out, and like the men, while they were playing some game or something, right? Chess or checkers, they came out and watched, and then they saw that it was, what the screams were, and it was, a little black boy getting beat up by the police, and they walked back up the stairs, shaking their head like, oh man, he's screaming like a little bitch. And she's looking at them like, well, why don't you do something about it? And, but they weren't going to do anything about it. They were just going to make fun of the kid as a deflection to why they couldn't do it, like why they wouldn't do anything about it. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's like fear. I don't remember. I'm trying to look because I wrote so many articles once upon a time. But like, yeah, fear as a motivation for our people, even at the higher levels, is a thing. So I think when you say that we're cowards, it's like, yeah, that it's accurate. Now. Yeah.
My thing is, let me tell you, like, my thing is, like, I don't even mind someone being afraid. Just admit you're afraid, then I know I ain't got to worry about you helping me.
Yeah.
And we can still be cool. But when you sit here and talk, and you talk about planning and fight back, and the only plan you have is somebody gonna kick your ass, pardon my French, on your pound. Uh-huh. Somebody gonna kick your back. And I always ask this question. I say, why do we always talk about what white folks want to do? Koku say, well, he's right, because you have to worry about the enemy. You have to know what they're going to do. And start using military. I'm gonna tell you something. I was in this man's military for a minute. I asked Missy Fox the same thing. I asked anybody else that was in the Marines or the Army or Navy. Want me to tell you how much they talk about what the enemy gonna do if you go to war?
Shit, probably don't.
Maybe 1% of the training. You know why? You know why they never talk about what the enemy gonna do or what the enemy can do? Because I constantly tell you the enemy got this and the enemy got that and the enemy can do this and the enemy can do that. It put doubt in your head. So what you have to do is talk about what you can do. And you have to strategize for what you can do. That's why I made it simple for people last night and said when Mike Tyson fought Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson was the most feared boxer in the world. I made it simple to try to make them understand. Buster Douglas knew what Mike Tyson could do. He knew can't nobody punch harder than Mike Tyson. But he also had a strategy. I ain't going to worry about Mike Tyson. I ain't going to worry about what he can do because I have the ability to take that away from him. And I'm going to do what I can do. But if we always... Look, the dude Black Steel said last night, even if it's a fair fight, white people can kick our ass. Am I lying?
Well, I don't know if he said that. I don't remember, but yeah. But I think so. I don't remember, but...
I'm going to tell you now. You don't remember. When I do my live today, I am going to play that whole last topic.
Damn.
I'm going to play it. I'm going to skip those people who was talking. I'm just going to play what we talked about.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure I put a pin in what Black Steel said, that even if it's a fair, even if it's an even fight, we lose.
Well, see, I think if it's an even fight, we would win. I was just saying, but it's also like, how do you get to the even fight? But like you said, in the event that you had an even fight, I think what happened with Toussaint Louverture and them is that they proved that black people, even under-equipped, could come out on top, But that's like generally speaking. So this is an old article I wrote. This is in 2011, where I said fear has an interesting role in Occidental. Back then I was using Occidental, means white people basically. A society, it appears that Europeans get deference to those whom instill fear into them. It's possibly the reason as to why a common compliment to a man or woman isn't God-loving, but God-fearing. I don't know why I was writing forsooth back then. I was in my 20s, be careful. All right, peace relates with a fear of war, according to prominent European philosophers. Not peculiarly, fear controls the European and is the European nation's main instrument of control, something we Africans know very familiarly. So it's like, I don't know why I was talking about these. Oh, these are the four motivators: fear, hatred, jealousy, and fun. I don't know. Back then I was, just outside of philosophy or whatever, and I was talking about love and David Walker and shit. But like the point is that fear as a motivator. Again, fear, most importantly, to act morally to God would be to honor God. Fearfulness of God has a hint of subterfuge, for truly God acts lovingly to us, and if God wills to punish, I don't know, was I talking religion back then? I don't know. God punishes through love, so why should we fear God's love? We should embrace it. Outside of the divine, we can also see that many times Africans will purposely intimidate one another to control them. This form of intimidating people only makes us live by a code of fear, for we ultimately will fear ourselves and those like us. In replacing fear with love, the advantages are obvious. So I think I don't know if I was talking about love in that sense. But what I'm saying is that, I had old articles where it really goes into, like you would realize that, a large, of the motivators that we have, well, at least back then I was thinking fear, hate, jealousy, and fun. For some reason, I don't know. And then how there was also love and all that kind of shit. But I don't talk about this obviously anymore. But you refreshed in my memory that a large part of what we discuss is fear. Huh?
It's good. Hey, I didn't mean to cut you off, man. I accidentally hit the thing my son was talking. No.
Oh, okay.
I apologize for that, man. That was rude.
No.
I ain't gonna keep you. I ain't gonna stay on here long. Let me. I'm gonna tell you something. Right? Everybody who's going to a war, going to battle, any kind of war or battle, everybody have a little fear. Everybody have a little fear. But then you have to get to a point when you say, when I'm gonna stop running from these bastards.
Yeah.
When are we gonna stand our ground?
No.
You got to be willing to counterpunch. Remember I telling you about them folks, 20 of them. That one black dude, I'm gonna tell you, I really see this being Black Steel and everybody else was on that panel last night. When that white boy was in that restaurant talking about the black dude that's calling him N-word. Can't no N-word police arrest me because the N-word ain't worth a damn. And I got up and challenged it. And I said, I'll beat your ass, you said again. It was a black dude sitting in that chair, and I promise you, it sounded like Black Steel to me. He ain't talking about me. They ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
He went and got his friends. There was about 20 of them. I couldn't run, bro. I ain't running no more. I knew what was in store for me if I fight 24. But I also knew what was in store for that one. I was going to get, but that black dude was going to sit there and watch them. You know who came out there to help me? A damn white Italian came out there to help me. The black folks sat there and watched, bro. A white Italian dude came out there to help me.
Yeah. Well, that's how it is sometimes. And that's the thing. It's like, like, sometimes I say to myself, like that's the reason why I kind of get what Black Steel is saying, and to the extent that if the people around you are cowards, right? That's going to jeopardize your fight. And I think actually I can't remember. I think there's a quote like that from Machiavelli. So Machiavelli, he writes some stuff about that, but it's like, if your soldiers are unwilling to fight, then you have a problem. And like you're saying, hey, look, the soldiers shouldn't be unwilling to fight. But it's kind of like what you said too, where you're saying, hey, look, if you are a coward, right, let me know so I do not fight with you. And the thing is that on some level you realize, at least I realize, that a lot of people in America are not willing to fight. Not only because like not only because they're afraid of this white boy, a lot of people don't even want to fight the white boy. And that's the thing that we have to come to terms with, that a lot of people are not willing to fight. Even like when I was in Africa, a lot of people do not like they have no animosity toward this white boy. Like a lot of women I've met in Africa were like willing to date white men. And there's like barely any white men there. But they're willing to date white men, which is kind of weird, honestly. But it's like that's what we have to come to terms with, where it's like even that picture I just showed of the 24-year-old and the 80-year-old, right? She doesn't want to fight this white boy. And the people and a lot of people were celebrating, I'll show you guys. A lot of people were celebrating this relationship. Shit didn't come to play. And then a lot of people are like, this lady, she's cool. She's like just a slave or whatever. But a lot of people are like, hey, black women no, but the king whatever. You get it. I mean, I don't know. She getting played as first wife, getting all of it. Yeah. Yeah.
It ain't even, I'm gonna be honest with you, after that conversation last night, it ain't even weird no more, man, to see a black woman say, I'm gonna date this white man. When you got black men ain't willing to do mean shit.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And a woman on a man. When we ain't willing to do mean stuff. See, we think it's mean stuff by figuring out a way to talk bad about our women. Now, because if we was talking bad about our women, all those people on that panel that was scared of the white man, they're full of energy. They're going to be full of energy to beat up the black woman, and I ain't lying.
Bro, you could play back that tape. Because I'm not really, I don't want to beat up on a brother Black Steel, but you could play back on that tape, and yeah, when those black women...
I'm sorry, I'm just saying, it ain't just one person, it was them. But go ahead.
No, I know. When that black woman was trash talking black men or whatever, right? It was kind of like fuck them hoes. I mean, like the word hoe came out, and I never hear that word, honestly. But it was like it was very. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying they were the greatest black women on the planet, but at the same time, it's like you said, if you have that energy for black women, you should have that energy for white men. And so like, even though I think you did have some energy toward those black women too, it's like you at least have some energy against white men, right? And I think that's the big caveat, where it's like, as you would sometimes point out, Erzuli and them, right? They might have more energy against black people than they do have against white folk. And I mean, I'm saying that, yeah, I think that has to factor in too, where it's like, if your people are really not, like, they really don't hate white folk, then like what could you do with them? And that's the thing I came across. And I think I read that Delaney quote, and I guess you said you're gonna go, so I'm gonna just I'll just read this for the people who might not think.
I listen to y'all, man.
Yeah.
I listen to you all the time, but I'm gonna tell you something. Like, I listen to this, I listen to Coco, but I'm gonna be honest, man. 2024, look, man, I'll be 52 in a couple weeks, bro. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. I've been doing this because I had to, because I was raised in this lifestyle since I was about 8 years old. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I refuse to die disappointed like I saw my daddy and his friends did, bro. I got to get away. Black people, as much as I love black people, as I just can't, especially on social media no more, man. Mm-hmm. Black people don't want to. Javante Tank Davis made all this money, go back to his neighborhood. We always complain about white people gentrifying. Nothing is never done. Them. Javante Tank Davis make all this money boxing, go back to buy his neighborhood because he want the young people where he from to have something nice. Then give a black construction company contracts to become millionaires because they gonna redo their own thing. So they finna build tracks from Baltimore to Africa, and we gonna connect with our people throughout the United States and globally. Look, in 24 hours, within 24 hours, some people in that black neighborhood said this building's on fire, bro.
What the fuck? That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like you're in hostile territory, not just by the white boy, and that's the problem. Like, if it was just the white boy that was hostile to our agenda, that's one thing. But like, a lot of black folk are hostile to a bigger agenda as well. Like, even like, because you saying like if you saying, look, let's go fight this white boy, a lot of black folk are hostile to that idea, and that's the thing that, like, especially in America, that's the big issue you have. Now you see the people in Niger and the people in Burkina Faso. If you say, look, fuck the French, they are on that time. A lot of people might be like, well, I don't know about fuck the Dutch, or I don't know about fuck the Russians, or I don't know about fuck the Chinese, or whatever, right? Or I don't know about fuck the Belgians, I don't know about fuck the British, but fuck the French, I got you, right? And that's enough. I'll tell you this. One of the peculiar things about me, I'll say this. I never liked Americans. Like, I don't mean like black Americans, I mean white Americans. I never liked white people to the point where even in my unconscious days, right? Even in my unconscious days, I think I one time flew to England because I wanted to get like soccer balls and shit. Not soccer balls, tennis balls and tennis racket. And I said, I'm not even going to buy from an American brand. And I was in England and I was like, finally I could buy a tennis racket and tennis balls, which was stupid, because, the Europeans and the English are bad people too. But I said, fuck the Americans, right? And they kind of, like, it was whatever. I was on that time, right? And that's the thing, that you're not going to find that too much in America. And that's like kind of the fundamental, that's kind of the fundamental beliefs. Because if you are not on that time of, I don't like America, the reality is that it's like you said, it's not like how you said, it's like when you're talking about, hey, we're gonna get this plan together, whatever. Most of your people, if you're on a Democratic time, most of your people are gonna be on that Joe Biden, on whatever Joe Biden's on, and I think a lot of us don't realize that a lot of our people are on the same time, on the same page as Joe Biden or Trump, and once that's the case, it's like, that's where the big difficulty comes in. At least for somebody like me, who's like, you know what, like if you like the thing you were putting out, oh, what if we were to create a, like, what if we had an alternate trading system, alternate this, alternate that? They're going to say, why would I do that? Like, a lot of your people are going to be like, let's make trading partners in Europe. Let's make trading partners in so on and so forth. Let's make trading partners, because we've seen this before, right? We've seen this in Liberia. We see this in Africa today. The governments in Africa are making trading partners with so on and so forth. I think we had an earlier conversation on Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie was making trading partners and business deals and business relationships, blah, 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 with the Europeans and not with the Africans. And Bwana was saying Garvey had a problem with him for that. I think I would call it like Occidentalists versus Africanists and all that kind of stuff. But the point is that we do not have that African mindset as of yet. And this is why when I say, what do you bring to the table? I need to finish my book and then have an ideology and be like, here, this is what I have at the table. Get on the right time. And then we can, then like almost anything's possible, I think. I don't know if you're still there though. Are you there?
I'm listening.
Okay.
You're talking about Garvey. You're talking about Haile Selassie, and you was talking about what time we need to be on, and you talking about how this white boy. I'm listening.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So this was the quote I read yesterday by.
The crazy thing is, you're not the only person that asked me, am I listening? So I'm going to tell y'all something. It's called conversation etiquette. When y'all speak, I listen.
No, I knew you were leaving there. No, I was like, but like, this is the thing that I was, I was going to change the subject, but like, this is the thing I read yesterday. I think everybody should read this book. These are my three favorite fiction novels is, Martin Delaney's Blake and the Huts of America. Damn, I forgot this guy's name, but, he wrote From Superman to Man. And then I kind of combined the two to make my own book, Zubiri. But this is Blake in the Huts of America is the biggest one, and it's a really good book. You could read the whole part 1 for free online, but you got to buy the book to get part 2. Part 2, he has this conversation between a woman and her daughter.
Excuse me. What's the name of it again?
Oh, this is Blake or the Huts of America. And so Martin Delaney, who's considered, I think he was the first black man in the U.S. military, or the black colonel in the U.S. military. Brilliant guy, right? He was free, and so he's writing this revolutionary novel. And I don't usually use the word revolution too much, but in this novel, he's talking about revolution against America. And remember, this is 1859. The Civil War didn't even happen. Okay? So he's talking about going from plantation to plantation, finding the men on the plantation, if there are any, and then telling them, hey, look, I got a plan, and if you just go about this slave stuff as it were, but enact the plan when the time comes. And then eventually they move out to Cuba, whatever, and they're like, we're going to start a revolution in Cuba in order to get us out of some black freedom. But then what happened was the Civil War happened, so he said, okay, let me not do this undercover revolution stuff. Let me just join in on the Civil War and bring the blacks to freedom. Okay? And like Martin Delaney is like he's really that guy. Like he's really him. He's really him. Even to the point where Frederick Douglass was like, the difference between him and Martin Delaney was that when Frederick Douglass wakes up, he says, I'll use the G word. He says, thank God I'm a man. But when Martin Delaney wakes up, he says, thank God I'm a black man. Yeah, so his book, he's this is definitely must read. I mean, I like my books too, and I like the other one, From Superman to Man. But this is definitely, I mean, they're all good. They're all good. I'm not gonna put one above the other, but this one's really good. I don't know how to say that. But anyway, look. So one thing I do know, if our men do not decide on something in our favor, they will soon be called to look upon us in a state of concubinage. For such treatment as this will force every weak-minded woman to place herself under the care of those who are able to protect them from personal abuse. If they have no men of their association who can, they must find those who will. And this is what it is. Like that incident you were talking about, where you're in some sort of situation and the black folk are looking at you with the white people. aren't, right? Weaker-minded people, and I'm not even saying that it's weak to go for it, but weaker-minded people will say, okay, if I'm going to do any sort of, protection from racial injustice or protection from harm or protection from whatever, right? If anything happens to me, if it's the white people that will stand up for me, then those are the people that I will go to in the future if I'm trying to develop something. I'm not going to go to the person who stood by the side, and that's the thing that, like, if you encounter it one time, it's not a big deal. When you encounter it 3-4 times, you start making it into a pattern. And when it's a pattern, you then say to yourself, you know what? The logical course of action. You know what I mean? The logical course of action is these people will defend me. And the thing is that everybody, like unfortunately, because I tend to say I don't have religion, right? I believe in mathematics. Okay, I believe in statistics. I'll say that, right? I think statistical mechanics. I think one time I was in physics. Statistical mechanics is thermodynamics. They said, like the guy said, the only real science is statistical mechanics. It's thermodynamics. That's the only, like, it's not theory. It's just fact, right? That things happen statistically, and I think that's a thing that, like, that's really like the core of what my belief system will be, and that's the core of science, I think, right? But I'm saying that to say that if your statistics are such that, or the patterns that you detect are such that black people will not stand up for you, but white people will, right? You're gonna run to the white folk. And even in a situation where, hey, you know what, some shit's happening to you, or like some creep is following you, right? A woman is told, well, then walk to the fucking police precinct. Okay, so anyway, and the other person says in response, you speak rationally, my child, regarding yourself. That is just what white men desire to do. Drive colored women as a necessity to seek their protection, that they may become the subject of their lust. Do you die for us before thinking of such a thing, and what might come before yielding to such degradation as that I would be on the first to aid in laying the city in ashes, right? Now, this is Martin Delaney writing for, two women, and he's basically saying, but like, the logic is here, and again, this is 1859. So, and Martin Delaney is free. The 1859, for those of you who don't know, in America was a time of African enslavement, okay? Martin Delaney was not enslaved, okay? He was free. And he's probably speaking for free people in Africa, in America, or in this case might have been the free people in Cuba, or maybe some of the free people who left America for Cuba, right? The point being, he's like, even free women would look upon the men and say, if you are not that manly energy, we're going to leave you for the white men who have it. And that's and a lot of times when you listen to some black women complain or some black women talk, they're really talking about, can I, like where's the man with energy? And unfortunately, like, I don't know the circumstance behind that white man and that black woman, but a lot of people are assuming that white man has money. Okay? And money, if people don't know, could in a lot of ways protect you in a lot of situations, a lot of circumstances. Money, yeah, and especially if you're like 22 years old, you might not have that kind of access to money. And a lot of people, like this is video out. I decided not to show it, but I was on Reddit for a second, and there's a video of this woman just shoplifting. Like, I don't know what store she went into. The people are saying it might have been Dollar General, but she basically gets her daughter and her to stock up on a cart, put a bunch of laundry detergent and all that kind of stuff from the Dollar General or whatever, and then they just walk out of the store with it. And then somebody who's filming it, confronts her, and she pulls out a handgun. And I think I didn't get to listen to it because I was on the podcast, so I couldn't listen to it. But, reading the comments, they were like, the little girl was like, this is how we pay our bills. And the white people who were confused in the comments, they were like, why would somebody steal laundry detergent from Dollar General? And then somebody else said, go to Facebook Market and look up laundry detergent. A lot of people are engaged in boosting, that kind of thing. Now, I say this and the reason why I didn't want to show a video is because, I don't want to join the crowd that's condemning black people or whatever. But I'm saying this to say that a lot of people are in economic circumstances that we don't understand. Right? They're in economic circumstances that are much worse than us. Brother Bakari drives a truck. Truck drivers are paid in America. I'm not, I'm not driving a truck. I'm not that, I don't got that money, right? But like, I'm not, living foot to mouth either. What people are willing to do for money, however, right? And I see this more clearly in Africa, but people are willing to sell their bodies for money. But if you're at that level of desperation, yeah, somebody with money is an asset for your life, right? And if that is like, if you can get that sort of situation, and a lot of women are searching for that situation, and it doesn't have to be a white man, obviously, but if you, and that's why I said right here for ladies, what's the biggest turn on? And actually, surprisingly, the majority said, I like to have savings. But if you look at the statistics, and Brother McCarr would tell us, don't repeat these statistics. But if you look at the statistics, they're saying a lot of black men are going to have negative wealth. A lot of black families are going to have negative wealth as the years go by. So that becomes a problem if you're looking for a partner with savings. Because say what you will about this white guy, and I don't like him. Sorry.
I would not tell you don't repeat that stat. You can repeat that stat, but I would say is, if we want to do better, if we want to have savings, the only way we gonna have what we can have if we willing to stand 10 toes down and control what we can control. The only power we have in this country is in our communities, in our neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. But if we constantly let everybody come and take what belongs to us, we ain't gonna have shit, and we shouldn't have shit if you're gonna constantly let people take it. But if you want something, we got to stand 10 toes down and protect what's ours.
That's what it is. And that's why I'm saying, like, I think I began the podcast with that. It's like, you have to get your savings together. And people are teaching, and I think I'm going to go over a video with that, but people teaching you not to get your savings together, or people giving you excuses why you can't have savings, right? Like, for instance, like you just said, stand up, defend your shit. So a lot of black people will tell you, you can't save money. As long as the white man's here, as long as the white man's breathing, you can't save money, right? That's a problem. Because it doesn't make any damn sense, right? But two, it's like you said, it's there's defeatism, there's hey, look, there's an opposition in this world, right? Makes sense. There's another one where it's like, I can't win, and I mean, like you were saying, I'll give you this, man. So, like I said, I one time, I know you're talking to your son. Is that the socialist one, Cuba? But there's this song. So the Asian, no, the communists, no, matter of fact, it's the communists, right? The communists in Sweden had this song I used to play back when I was, reading into the socialism stuff, right? And it's like, I think the anti-Vietnam song, Sweden, so on and so forth. It's on YouTube, right? It's a good song, right? I think I should show you guys, but it goes something like, I mean, obviously it's not in English, so it's like, hello, Don Bhutan, whatever, right? But at some point, they say America is a paper tiger. Okay? And that's like a famous thing that China used to say about America. Hey, America looks like a tiger, but it's freaking made out of paper. And that's what you're saying pretty much. It's like, there's a difference in saying America is a fucking tiger. Because, like, I know you say you can fight a fucking tiger. I can't fight a tiger. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you right now. But a paper tiger is something that you can fight. So I think people, I don't like to push Soviet propaganda. Not Soviet, they're not Soviet, but I don't like to push these kind of stuff, and I'm not going to play the song either. But I think people should look into that song, because when you look at the lyrics, because somebody actually pointed out that the communists have some of the best propaganda on the planet, honestly. But you're not going to be able to understand the words unless you speak Swedish. which it's highly unlikely. But right? But I mean, some people speak Swedish. But I'll put the link in the chat. But yeah, you listen to that lyric, you read the lyrics, and it's like, yeah, America is a paper tiger, and you have to believe that you can beat your enemy. And if you do not believe you could beat your enemy, then I mean, that's fine too. I mean, I'm not gonna say that, because like I said, I've you have to assess your situation, right? You have to assess your situation. If you can win, then that's good. If you can't, you can't. But what I'm going to say is that when you look at people like the communists, right? They think they can win. And I mean, I'll admit, I'm sometimes a Debbie Downer who's telling you guys, like telling the communists, what the fuck are you talking about? You're not beating this motherfucker. And I'm gonna read that later, but it is what it is. We'll just go off of that. Lero made a thing about Bobcats. Oh, sorry, you got anything else to say before we get back into it?
Well, but I understand what you mean by paper tigers. I always say paper champs. But when you don't think you can do anything, it's just piggybacking. And I'm telling you, I'm going to go. Because I'm going to do me a lie today when you finish. And I am going to play what everybody was saying. I'm telling you, I'm going to play what everybody was saying. People need to hear themselves speak.
Yeah.
You're too defeated, bro. We way too damn... And I'm telling you, man, I've been telling folks for the last 6 months to a year, I'm going to get off YouTube. I'm going to piss folks off. I'm going to make them mad at me. Then I'm going to bounce and shoot. Just go. Don't do it. But I got to, man. And I'm telling you, it's not just that. When I hear, I'm telling you, that's why I told folks, don't say nothing to me about no Christian or Muslim no more.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no difference. Don't come to me with none of that. I'm going to get back to my spirituality, what I was doing, how I believe. And I'm going to get all my training and all that. And I'm going to do what I got to do. But as far as trying to really connect with some soldiers on social media, no, bro, I can't. Because it ain't none. I'm just being honest with you, man. Yeah. And that was so bad last night. But that's the most disappointing thing. That's one of the most disappointing things I've ever heard in a conversation. You don't see yourself winning at all. That's why when I look at our neighborhoods, because we ain't got no damn community, we just got somewhere to go lay our head and go to sleep. Because it ain't just the white man, because everybody controls it. Or the Chinese, the Koreans, the Arabs, the East Indians, the Hispanics. Everybody control you. It ain't just the white man, or as people like Black Steel would say, the Jews or the Zionists. It ain't just them. It's the every damn body. And we don't want to step up that against no. That's why we don't boycott nobody. You remember I used to always ask, who shop with a black business? Who boycotted this today? Don't nobody ever answer those questions. Because we are okay with being dominated.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people are, man. That's the trouble. And that, like you said, that's like I said, when I was younger. And I'm still young, obviously, but when I was younger, I met this dude, and he saw my optimism, and he was like, man, and he started becoming pessimistic, and I was like, I hope I'll never get pessimistic like him. But I reached that point where it's like, yeah, I think that you have to adjust your strategy. Unfortunately, like I tell you, man, I do want you to, take a trip to Africa. I want you to take a trip to Africa. And
that's the final goal.
Yeah.
My goal is not here. My final resting place. My goal is not here. But while I'm here, I can't just run. While I'm here, I can't be a coward. While I'm here, I can't just lay down, dude. I can't.
Yeah. No, I feel you, man.
My goal is not to give the rest of my. I have a plan. I know. I have an idea. My plan was waiting a little bit, put back a year. But I know when I'm going to be on the continent of Africa trying to see. My son is a junior in college. My daughter getting ready to go to college. Man, I can't just jump up and go. I still have children here in college who I have to.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
When I take my trip, I really don't plan to be coming back and forth like that. And that's my plan. I have a different. And I don't always say my plans, and I probably shouldn't have said this on here, because there's some stuff I'm planning I would never say on YouTube. It's stuff that I do I would never say, especially to a lot of these people.
Right? Hey, man, ain't nobody listens to my podcast, man. No, I'm joking. Hey, Biz fam, I see y'all.
I ain't just talking about how many people watching your podcast. I'm talking about some of these people that be on the panels, bro. I just can't no more. Keep doing what I'm doing in the streets. I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna keep training. I'm gonna keep training black women to use weapons, not just guns. We finna start going through pepper spray training. We going through knife training. You know, because our main job is to protect. That's one of the jobs. So even if I train you properly, if I'm not there and you're able to protect yourself because of some of the stuff that I taught you, right?
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that I had to learn, and once I learned and I taught you, I'm still protecting you. But we have to go through all of this stuff. But it don't seem like we want to, because we want to lay down and complain about how the white man will put his foot in our ass and won't take it, 1 foot in the ass and 1 foot on the neck, and will not remove it. But then you get up and go spend all your money with it ain't nothing in that Arab corner store that I can't live without, willing to fight for or die for. It ain't nothing in there I can't live without.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing in them stores that black people giving their money to that they can't live without. So we don't want to fight on no level. A fight ain't just a physical fight. The fight is mental. The fight is most definitely economics. We don't want to fight on no level, bro.
And that's the thing. Look, I'm gonna get to.
You know what a cur is? You know what a cur is?
A what?
A cur. Do you know what a cur is?
No.
Okay, a cur. I used to breed game dogs, right? A cur is a dog that'll quit. Don't care what the competition is. Don't care how big and bad or how tough or how athletic it's supposed to be. A cur will quit. And that's what a lot of black men have become, curs. See, I'm a game dog. A game dog go to the end. I'm going to give you my best till the end. But a lot of black people have become curs.
Yeah.
A C-U-R. Look it up. A cur. And then look up what a game dog is. I'm going to give you my best. You're going to have to stop me. Ain't no use. Stop him. Because we can't complete this mission. You got to stop him. But you ain't got to stop the cur. Because as soon as they see one obstacle, oh shit, we can't fuck with these white folk, man, even if it's fair. That's what they have become. Curs. I'm dead game, bro. I'm dead game. And they say dead game ain't the way to be, because when you dead game, that's exactly what you end up being. Dead. You just want to be game. But you don't want no cur.
Yeah.
There was too many curs on that panel last night.
I ain't gonna hold you, man. Yeah, man. All right, boss. All right. So yeah, thanks for coming, man. Thanks for being here. So yeah, this is the book that we were reading last night. It was a good show last night. If you guys can't tell, make sure you guys check out the Bit of Medicine podcast, and of course check out our brother Bakari's program later, right after this. But this is the book that we were listening to yesterday. A lot of people had a problem with the book. I don't necessarily, because it's in Zinga. She was a great warrior in Africa. This is me talking about some puzzle that was on things, so it's not that important. This is somebody else. They wrote in December of 2000. He isn't president yet. It's going to turn into, hasn't been 100 days. Next thing you know, but the Republicans won't let him do anything. And by 2024, we'll be hearing just vote so you don't end up with, and you know, this is a prediction. And it's like, you know, I like to say this is nacho country. Okay? Nacho country. That's what it is. Now, what does that mean? You know, you guys, it's an old joke in the community. It says vote for ladies was the biggest turn on, and I said vote like, a lot of people weren't voting, so I said vote like ballots on the Biden's on the ballot. This is pretty interesting. This is the image of people that are collecting waste, and this is actually pretty interesting. So there's like a drain, I guess. Yeah, they put nets on the drain. And after you put nets on the drain, you collect all the garbage that goes in the water. Now, what's interesting about this image is how clean the water looks after it's drained. You know, that's what's really interesting about this. Now, this is obviously a video of people working to clean in some water, and it's like that's the thing I said about this is like, look. This is good. It looks good. they able to collect 370 kilograms of. It doesn't actually sound like that much, so I don't know if that's what it was. But they were able to collect 370 kilograms of debris in 4 months. But he says, remember, this costs money. It takes a team agreeing that it's a problem, another team to build the net, and another team to install the net. Maybe another to dispose and replace the net. That's money and labor and capital. Do not let people convince you that money is unnecessary. The last people to argue money wasn't necessary were enslavers. That's all I can say, right? This is just an example of when we talk about what we can do as a people, a lot of it costs. Like the video we saw on the side, you can find a lot of volunteers. Like, these are probably volunteers doing this, or they're workers, who knows? But you can find people to volunteer to do this one day of the month, one day of the year, so on and so forth. But really, you gotta, if people are gonna do this, you want to pay them. If you want people to really do this actively and frequently, you should pay them. Or they should have some sort of stake in the community, like I was saying earlier. Like, you want, like this, because this is human labor. And a large, and you see how it's a big team, right? So you got to get people to come together and do it. Now, I remember one day, there's this black organization here in New York City who had us on Eastern Parkway cleaning trash, like doing this, like picking up trash. And of course, it was a bad day for me because I don't know how, but my son's mother got me, had me. Like, it was a long time ago. It was like, I guess she wasn't really my son's mother at the time, but she was detoxing or something like that, and she had me detoxing, like, the no carb diet. Oh my gosh, that thing was torture. But like, I barely could even do this. My point though is that, yeah, people can volunteer to do this, or you can pay them, and if you're paying them, it's just that much more probable that they will continually to do this. They will continue to do this, ad infinitum, as opposed to, like, if somebody volunteers to do this, they might do it for a month, a day, a week, for a year. But if you're paying people, and you're paying them good money, they might do this for their whole life. Like garbage collectors, they do that for their whole life. Why? Because they're getting paid good damn money. Now, would I go around collecting garbage? Absolutely not. No, for money maybe, but no. Like, no otherwise. For women, savings is what allows a man to buy a home, take you on vacations, or take off from work. The fiscally responsible man may also be intimately underperforming man, just FYI, right? That's that. Let me see if there's any comments in the chat, though. Oh, no comments. Okay. How you guys liking the live? That was cool. We had Brother Makari. That was pretty interesting, right? So this was a link from Shoot the Breeze from 2 weeks ago. Make sure you guys check it out. I promised myself I'd be out of USA by the 2024 election, and here I am. A couple more years. Won't be too bad. And I said, don't boo this man, right? Get out of the country, right? Anyway, so laugh at myself. The first day I'm not podcasting today. Oh yeah, so I did this podcast about. So I asked this question. I said, look, I've been working 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. These motherfuckers, and I'm surprised because, like I said, this was intense. 12-hour shifts, 7 days a damn week. I looked at the paycheck. The paycheck was small. I'm thinking I'm about to get big. I barely got anything. I ain't gonna hold you guys. So anyway, I said, didn't buy groceries. I didn't buy groceries because I was at work 12 hours a day. Didn't buy groceries, and it's a good experience to tell you why a non-working adult. You want a non-working adult or a lightly working adult cohabiting, but responsible with money and invested in your future. Okay, that's what's necessary. So I say they can buy groceries, they can cook, they can clean, and you can finance and gift them. So what is that? Right? So I'll read that again. Been working 12-hour shifts 7 days a week, didn't buy groceries. Good experience to tell you why a non-working adult cohabiting but responsible with money and invested in your future is necessary. They can buy groceries, cook, clean. You can finance and gift them. What is that? Most people said, no, I gave you 4 choices. A roommate. Is that a roommate? Is that a slave? Is that a housekeeper? Or is that a wife? Most people said it was either a roommate, a slave, or a housekeeper. So my brother Gnostic said, I'm going to jump on YouTube and see what you're talking about today. I said, laugh my ass off. The first day I said, I'm not podcasting today. People actually want to join. I'm doing it 12 hours. So I was doing a 12 hour that day. Gnostic said, please say psych. He's joking. What are the other replies? I can't see the other reply. But yeah, most people said that's a slave. And oh no, sorry, that's a roommate, a slave, or a housekeeper. And the reality is that we don't really process, right? That you have to like this is a good arrangement for you. If I could go out, because like for instance, I think yesterday I went to the grocery store, Tirotted. I had to wait in the line for like a good 30 minutes. Okay, now first off, I walked to the grocery store. It took me about 30 minutes, right? I waited in, like I had to go get all the stuff, which took me about 15, 20 minutes, right? And then I had to buy the groceries. I had to wait in line for the groceries. Took another 30 minutes. Then of course I had to walk back, and that was another 30 minutes. But like that was like 2 hours, 3 hours, right? I don't know. You would do the math, right? A good chunk of time, unproductive, really. And I had to do that for myself because I do not have a wife in America. Right? Now, granted, I'm not saying that I would have been extra productive if I had stayed home, because that's not what I do. I'm not super productive every day. But it's really... there was a sister on the podcast, I think, on Shoot the Breeze yesterday. Not yesterday, last week, who was like... being a housewife is a 24/7 occupation. Now, I don't agree with her at all. I don't think it's a 24/7 occupation, but it is time consuming. Like, because I could say, kind of quasi single parent, right? I could say, yeah, it is pretty like kids have demands, family has demands, but more importantly, cooking, cleaning, getting groceries, these are time consumers, and if you don't come to terms with that's a time consumer, then that's on you. But because it's a time consumer, you do want to say to yourself, if you do want somebody else to do it for you, they're crazy. Anyway, so you do want to talk about that kind of thing. This thing is asking me if I'm still on the call. So make sure you guys, everybody can click the link if you want to chat with Oni or what have you. So this was a recording. I didn't get to listen to it yet, but this is the brother Sai Marcus Harev Traore. He has a lot of information on the revolutionaries in West Africa right now. And what's interesting is this. So when I went on the first, there was this is part 2. He had a part 1, and they're all recordings, so you guys could easily, you just click it and play it. Now, there's 2 things to this. One,
Cote d'Ivoire. Yeah, it's not the same.
So I was listening. But one thing you guys got to know about this too. I don't know if it's here. I guess you can't see it. Oh, here. Press this closed caption. Look at this.
Yeah, because if they are going to sit down and say that these people, they will come and join them, they will never join them. They will never. So when they become stabilized, when they create...
Oh, okay. They're not showing it. But sometimes when you're in these spaces, they will show every word that's being said on the closed caption. Just written out. So I think somebody was pointing out yesterday and Shoot the Breeze that, yeah, it's possible that YouTube does have the entire transcript of every damn conversation that you are having. Like what I just said, it's going to read every damn conversation that you're having. That's what it's going to say. I don't know if you could do that on this YouTube video where you have the closed caption, but on Twitter, at least before, I can't say right now, I don't know. Well, I guess maybe before Elon bought it, you could read everything that somebody was saying while they were saying it, which is pretty interesting to say the least. But that's the technology level that people are at. So it's like, I remember when I used to have meetings in America, particularly when people had iPhones, I told them, you got to leave that in the car. Like, if we're going to talk serious, you got to leave that in the car. You know, for the Android. Oh yeah, the thing was that for Android phones, I told people, take out the battery. Okay, just take out the battery. The thing's dead. Now here's this: me telling you guys that I would just take out the batteries. White people are thinking of, well, how can I make the phone listen with the battery out? How do I have a backup battery just for the surveillance instrumentation? Okay? You know, and that's part of the real world and real life. Okay? You have to be 2 steps ahead of your enemy. You have to be 2 steps ahead of your enemy. And so already, like I said, you could put the phone in the car, and then, you know, have a conversation far away from the car. But it is what it is. Or you could, for instance, put the phone in the car, and then play an audio for the freaking phone in the car. You know what I'm saying? But you have to not expect the unexpected, but you have to come to terms with, oh yeah, these people are not playing games. And I think this is another post right here that really kind of touches on to that. You know, you have this Israeli real estate company, and I don't really want to get into the Israeli stuff, but there's so much content, and it's really informative, honestly, at this point. But it's like, here's this image of pretty much Gaza broken down, and then you have these blueprints for houses. Actually, an interesting design for a house, but it is what it is, right? So they're saying Israeli real estate company Zavhav, a leading company in building illegal settlements in the West Bank, announces new plans for a project in Gaza. They are planning to build beach houses over the rubble of the killed children in Gaza. This is a country the U.S. is supporting, right? And so this guy, Hampton University, socialist people, they're like, look, the world is really going to allow Israel to carry out a genocidal campaign, build vacation resorts over the bodies of 10,000 dead children, and live happily ever after on blood-soaked beaches like nothing happened. Now, you kind of see when people talk about the children, what they're doing, right? They're trying to get you in your feels, right? But this is it. You got to go to realism. Why Marcus Garvey said the only protection against injustice in man is power, physical, financial, and scientific. You know, like what Brother McCarthy was just saying. You know, the fight is not just physical; it's financial, it's scientific, right? I said, yes, the world is going to allow it. The world is an alliance of strong states against weak states, and you either have to be in the alliance or be a strong state. And so a lot of black people are like, let's join the alliance. Now, I say the latter is key, right? Being a strong state yourself is the key, right? Now, I think that key shouldn't be in America. Obviously, I think Brother McCarthy was saying that it should, but I would say that, no, not that it should, but, you know, that if you're here and you can do it, and that's what I'm saying. I said it too. If you listen to the podcast, I said if you can pull it off, more power to you. You know what I mean? Like, if you could pull it off, you know, that's like you have some sort of genius, obviously. And you know, who am I to doubt a genius? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know my limits. You know? I know my limits. But like, what I'm saying is that a lot of people are going to tell you, join the alliance. I don't think so, obviously. But if you're not going to join the alliance, you have to strengthen your own base. And that's what I really think about. This is some elevator thing. It's pretty interesting, but it's not that interesting. I was talking about this woman gave me a picture, a wallet, and it's a boring ass picture. And a lot of people like that. Not too many people. I got to say that just in case she's listening. So I said, most people are saying anything but a wife. Some are even saying a slave. Let's talk about it. If a person gets a free home, this is what wives get. Wives get free home, free food, free sex, free savings, free inheritance, free kids, free love, and free vacations. They're probably, according to Americans, they're probably a housekeeper, a roommate, or a slave. And it's like, you got to go back to that image of the 80-year-old and the or a slave-owning master. I didn't really get this joke, but you really got to go back to that 80-year-old with the 80-year-old and the 22-year-old, right? Again, we don't know the relationship. We don't know if the white man is broke or not. But the assumption is, because she's pretty, right? Pretty in the face, right? The assumption is that she's not paying for shit. She's not splitting the bill. She's not splitting the bill halfway. She's not, I don't know what else people are doing. Like, I remember one time I was on the dollar van. I was on the dollar van. Black man, black woman in front of me, right? And for some reason, the black woman had to pay for the black man's fare on the dollar van. For those of you who don't know, dollar van is a like a kind of like a bus in New York City, or not in many cities. They kind of like have a van and they kind of drive it like it's a bus. And it used to only cost $1. Now it costs $2, right? But basically, you can go down a street for $1 or for $2, and a lot of times it's like Caribbean immigrants who drive the system, and it's probably based off of the taxis that they had in their own country, right? Anyway, it's basically like an old school bus system, right? It's not, they have big buses. They just use bigger vehicles and act like they're buses. For a woman to have to go in her wallet, and then the guy kind of like fights and bickers over it. Like, I told you there's no money, blah, 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 blah. And he's just angry. And you're just sitting there like, why is she with this guy? Like, why, what? You don't bother it. You don't really care. But it's just like, yeah. If that was the situation I was in, because a lot of sisters, you're going to listen to a lot of sisters. A lot of them are telling you that they loan money to their men. Which is just really weird. And so, yeah, if I was a dating coach, a dating counsel, now I would never advise a white man, obviously. But if I were a dating coach, dating counsel, I would say you could do better than that. Now, I'm not saying every woman can do better than that, but you would hope that you can. Like, what you want from a man is probably free home, free food, free sex, free savings, free inheritance, free kids, free love, free vacations. And the issue is that in America, particularly, that's not a thing. Even like the American woman that, like, if an American woman was, I think American woman was expressing some interest in me at one point, and I was like, I can't really be in a relationship with you because, like, low key in America, I'm broke, right? And she's like, why does that matter if I'm working? And it's like, well, that's the trouble. The trouble is that if you are working and I'm working, I have a problem. Because now all of a sudden you're talking about, like I said, who's going to do the groceries? Who's going to do the cleaning and who's doing the cooking? Now, if you make enough money that you could afford somebody else to do all those things for you. And of course, this woman, I think, she didn't do her own groceries. She had Instacart. She's also broke now, right? But like, she had Instacart to do her groceries, right? Which I think is lazy, honestly, but it is what it is, right? But you gotta come to terms with, guess what? If you're not like, and that's another thing that's gonna happen to you. If there's actually a story. I don't think I retweeted or anything, but there's a story of some guy who's like, I think it was like an Indian guy who was with a black woman, and then he divorced her, and he's like, I just can't. Like, this woman does not do any. Like, she doesn't clean, she doesn't cook, she doesn't, do groceries. She tells other people to do it, and he's like, I can't even live with a woman like that. And like there's a lot to the human dynamic where, really, a man wants to, Like a man wants to ask his woman to do favors for him, and his woman could easily be like, no. Like even that woman I'm telling you guys about, the American woman. I remember back when we were dating, she didn't want to do fellatio. Like, I'm getting a little, graphic, I guess. She didn't want to do oral sex, okay? But she was like, she would hire another woman to do it for me, and I was just like, what? And then it was a little interesting. But then, her terms were kind of weird, So I didn't go along with it at all. But it was just kind of like, what? It was just, yeah. I mean, like a big retrospect. Sorry, let me see if I have anybody listening now. Like, no comments on that. All right, let's keep going on. So this is I can tell you guys about the revolutionaries in West Africa. This is Burkina Faso. Mind you, Burkina Faso is Thomas Sankara. Okay? Thomas Sankara named Burkina Faso land of the upright men. Right? This is another upright man, Ibrahim Traore. And that's the thing about, that's what I was going to tell you guys about this space. So I went to the first space. Okay? I went to the first space, and somehow or another, I hear somebody say, the next speakers are this, and Onitaset. And I'm like, what? Because I went to listen. They put me up as a speaker, and I didn't even request it, right? And I just signed off, right? I got nothing to say about this situation in Burkina Faso. I don't bring anything to the table. Now, I could be like, hey, we gotta be men. And that's a good message. That's a good thing to hear. Even so, there is a more complete, like, you have to have something, you have to bring something to the table. If you do not bring something to the table, don't even sit at the table. Don't even sit at the table. Okay? Even me, as much as you say, hey man, Oni, you're pretty smart, blah blah blah. If I don't have, like, I'm not putting any resources in Burkina Faso. So what am I sitting up in the council, Burkina Faso? What am I sitting up at the table with the Burkina Faso leader? Now, granted, I'm not saying that I got nothing per se, but there are going to be people, there are going to be men, and that's the thing you got to realize about these white folk. A lot of these white folk that you see in Africa are bringing something to the table. I'm not saying all of them, obviously. Some of them are just fucking sex toys, right? But what I'm saying is, like, I remember one time I was looking at this, there was this video, and it was like, what should be done in Haiti, right? Or what should be done about the presidential situation? And there was a bunch of people sitting around the table talking about what should be done. And a lot of them were immigrants. Not immigrants, but, a lot of them were not Haitians. And if you look at their titles, though, they're, this is the owner of this, the owner of that, the chairman of this, the CEO of that. Like, they had a stake, and that's why they could sit at the table. And, we might be outraged. Why don't you have regular schmegular Haitians on there? Well, because they like, regular schmegular Haitians ain't doing nothing. And we have to come to terms with that. I know it does not sound good. I know it does not sound great, but we have to come to terms with, what are you bringing to the table? Because if you just have your opinion, everybody has an opinion. Man, I think that what we need to do is we need to, everybody has an opinion. It's like I remember back in the day, everybody named mama, every black man named mama, every black man thinking about geopolitics on a serious level will tell you, hey, we need to develop nuclear weapons. I think the FBI is tired of hearing black folk talk about nuclear weapons. But when you start to look into how you can build one, right, you don't have anywhere near the technology, the scientific know-how, the engineering skills. I was on an airplane flight. You guys should check out this movie. I'm going to try to search for it. There's a movie that the Japanese made. Okay? I'm going to try to search for it. I'm going to try to search the title. You guys watch it. I saw it on an airplane. It was a Japanese atomic bomb movie, right? Is it The Day the Sun Fell? No. Damn, the Japanese got a lot of time movies. The fuck? Anyway, I wonder why, right? No. So I'm trying to find what the name of the movie is. I'm looking on another screen because I didn't want to like. Oh, here it is. So I'm gonna show you guys my Google search, and if you guys could. The thing is that I like to search Google off screen just in case, something shows up. So look, I searched Atomic Bomb movie Fire, and the movie was Gift of Fire, right? Gift of Fire, wartime, so on and so forth. So this movie is really interesting because what the movie is about is about the arms race between America and Japan on who could build the bomb first. Okay? And the reason why I like this movie is essentially it's like the Japanese know how to build the bomb, the Americans know how to build the bomb. And what it is that it demonstrates that you can know how to build the bomb, but whether or not you have the technology to pull it off is a whole other question. Right? Whether or not you can get the centrifugal spin to where it needs to be is another problem. Is an engineering problem. It's a different engineering problem altogether because it's only so fast you can spin something in order to, I think it's like isolate the isotopes or something like that, right? Essentially, you got. I think you're like in the movie they tell you got something like uranium-235. I think I don't know, right? I don't like again. I watched this movie like a year ago and just once. It's not it's on an airplane. There's a flight to Africa. It was like a 20-hour. You don't remember every freaking detail, whatever. But the point is this: you have to spin. No, you have to essentially. Yeah, spin this isotope so quickly that it becomes a different isotope. It's like something happens, right? I don't know the language. I should have looked it up. I'm not gonna hold you, right? But why I'm saying is this because it's like the amount of spins per second you needed was like 30,000 spins or something like that, right? Some crazy number of spins per second. And the Japanese were like, when they started the project, they were at like 3,000, and they were like, how in the world can we get it 10 times? And they were able to, like, oh, let's reduce the air friction and get it to 6,000. And they're still like, hey, we need to get it 5 times more than this. And by the time they're close to their bomb, obviously Nagasaki is bombed, obviously Hiroshima is bombed, and that's it. Right? So it's like that engineering feat is what it is. Now, you can easily find 20-something-year-old black men who are going to be like, yeah, what we need is an atomic bomb. Absolutely. Everybody knows this. But what extent are you moving to experiment with uranium, right? To experiment with uranium and put it inside of a scientific environment to where you can engineer the sort of isolation you need in order to make it into this particular isotope. I can't remember which one it is. I feel like it's uranium-235. I can't remember if you're trying to get to 235 or if you already have 235. But essentially, you're trying to change it essentially, and I think this is it. Barnes, I don't know, but this was the this was it. Yeah, I think this is it. So you want to get uranium-235. I think, I don't know. You guys look it up. It's an isotope of uranium. Yeah, but uranium is at the what's the code for uranium? Uranium is 238. So you have to spin this document. You have to spin uranium-238 to the point where it loses 3 neutrons. Okay? They're saying like this. The most common isotope in natural uranium, which is 238, which has 146 uranium, and so on and so forth. So you have to create uranium-235 in order to have a nuclear weapon. You see what I'm saying? Only natural occurring isotope, which makes it widely used in nuclear power plants and nuclear weapons. However, extremely scarce, right? So you can get uranium-238 really easily. You have to put uranium-238 through a process. But you need uranium-235, okay? If you want to do nuclear bombs or nuclear energy, right? And so, like they're going to say, I don't know. They might. I don't know. I never looked at this page before. This is Wikipedia. It might tell you. But basically, the way how you can get uranium-235 is if you spin. I'm trying to look for the speed that you have to spin it. If you spin uranium-238 at such a fast speed to which it loses 3 neutrons, right? Which you can overcome the bond of those 3 neutrons. But I guess they won't. I guess they don't say what the rate is. But see, as I'm saying, I don't even want to be looking up uranium and all that kind of stuff. But like they tell you in the movie, though, they tell you the rate in the movie because it's a Japanese movie. So you guys make sure you check out that movie. I think it's Gift of Fire. I'll put the link in the chat. Not the link, but I'll put the because I think it's a really good. I think it was a really good movie. I didn't watch Oppenheimer, so I can't tell you how good Oppenheimer. I don't know what they said in Oppenheimer. But I'll put the link. I'll put the description in the chat. Matter of fact, where's my chat? Oh, here. Bonda's here. What's that old girlfriend's name? Yeah. Nah, man. A woman. I realize though, man. That's the thing about Americans too. Like a woman who doesn't do foreplay, man, she's trash. Like I realized I was with a woman one time, and she was like, "You don't do enough foreplay," and I was like, "Well, yeah, I'll try to do more." Right. A woman who doesn't do foreplay is trash. Just get rid of her. I mean, obviously, a woman who's like, "Hey, I'll pay somebody else to do foreplay for you," is pretty interesting. But like, in the moment, like you want some foreplay. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, it's just like it's just not even worth it. That's why, when you find a good woman, right? Shout out to the good woman. No, right? When you find a good woman, like. Other women just don't do it for you anymore. You know what I mean? They just don't do it for you anymore. Especially women like that, where they're just like, I'm not even gonna I'm not even gonna do foreplay. But anyway, so that's the Get the Fire movie. Make sure you guys check it out. Anyway, so let's go to the this other post. Yeah, I might have to cut my locks off. Y'all, can you imagine I was eating pork these last few days? I think I finally found an alternative, but the pork was cheap. Somebody said that Elijah Muhammad. My brother one time told me Elijah Muhammad used to tell black men not to eat pork, not because of religion, but because pork was cheaper. Because pork was cheaper, and therefore he think. So anyway, this was an interesting post right here, and this is the thing I don't like about I don't want to say it this way. By the way, shout out to Buana. But I don't want to say it this way, but because I know Koku's listening. Koku's like a lot of us don't like black men. I like me. But like, there's a lot of black men that just unlikable. So this is one of those examples. He's like, I had a conversation with a long divorced couple this weekend about the turmoil that was their marriage. How she attacked him while he was driving. How after finally pulling to the side of the highway and trying to defend himself, another car pulled over, screaming at him to stop attacking her. Retelling the story 25 years later, the ex-wife made clear that he was. Interestingly, if he had been the attacker, he could not have told his story with a laugh and without condemnation the way she did. I used to be skeptical. Did y'all lose the screen? Oh shit, my screen. Let me see something. So I don't know, as they say, drop a 1 in the chat. Oh yeah, I think I can hear it now. So let's see. Go to the browser window. Yeah, my fault. I don't know what happened. My computer just shut down. So whoever has whoever has that ability just exercised it. No, I'm just messing. I don't know. Anyway, so I think that's enough talking about uranium, right? Let's not talk about uranium no more. No, I'm just messing. So what were we talking about? Yeah. So this guy, he's like, stop attacking her, retelling the story 25 years later, so on and so forth. He's like, I used to be skeptical of the claim that black men disproportionately suffer domestic violence, but the statistical evidence shifted my perspective, and now I hear stories like these, stories I've heard throughout my lifetime, for what they are, the minimization of abuse because it's perpetrated by a woman. And it's like, look, I don't like when guys do that. We're gonna scroll down a little bit, but I don't like when guys do. Let me just check with the chat. Thank you, Revolutionary Matron, for that. Brother Makari is here. He's gonna clown on my brother Buana. He says she doesn't like cowards. Who are you talking about? He said, LOL, Uncle Makari. I know I'm gonna get the wrath. Yeah, man, we're gonna get the wrath later. That's why I'm talking for so long. I'm like, what? Brother Makari's gonna get all that later. But anyway, so like what I was saying was, yeah. So I had a problem with that, and I mean, I don't know if you guys can see the problem, but the problem I have with that is, yeah, if you are like, there is no defend yourself against a black woman. What does that even mean? You're a big guy. If you do not want somebody like I tell the brother, I say, look, just get out of the car, put her outside, and drive off. You know, there's no real story of this smaller person was picking on me. You know, it's like remember that time when that guy was harassing Mike Tyson on the harassing Mike Tyson on the car? Like that's just an unusual circumstance when you decide to harass Mike Tyson, right? But most people are not going to be harassing Mike Tyson. Like, you have to at some point stand up for yourself, and that doesn't mean defend yourself, but like, you get out of the car, a black woman almost knocks you over, just drive off. Say, look, get out of my car, toss her out, and drive off, and never speak to her again. You don't fight her on the sidewalk, because if you fighting a small person on the sidewalk, most people are going to say, what are you fighting that small person for? What are you trying to accomplish fighting a woman? If you're a man, be a man. And I'm not saying, exercise your violence. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, because there's ways to use your physicality to your advantage. I mean, there's a story that the sister don't like. Basically, yeah, look, sometimes you just gotta be the bigger person. Like, if you're the bigger person, just be the bigger person. And just say, you know what? Get out of my car and go away. So I'll tell you guys this. It's because no one cares when a woman attacks a man. It's not a story. If a woman attacks you, 9 times out of 10, you wanted that. I know it's like, hey, you're blaming the victim. Kinda. Kinda in the sense of, yeah. What, like it's kind of like if like I said, sometimes there's these brothers who would say, well, I don't want to say brothers, but there were these guys who were like, yo, I don't listen to women at all. I don't process, but they're like in debates with women. And it's like, if you don't listen to women at all, right? What are you debating them for? You know? Because the debate means you got to listen to them. Like we have to just be consistent. If you're the man, you're the leader, you're in charge, what are you fighting a woman for? And that's the thing that I'll tell you guys, I do not fight women. There was one instance where this woman tried to attack me or whatever. I didn't go out there and fisticuff with this woman. That's stupid. Don't even make no damn sense. A lot of people are like, hey man, why don't you just go and talk to her? Hey, why don't you go have a call? I don't have nothing to talk to with some no broke ass woman. I got nothing to talk to about her. Anyway, so what I say is, look, it's because no one cares when a woman attacks a man. Mostly because no one cares when a woman attacks a man. Because no one should care when a woman attacks a man. I don't know how to write this any clearer. You're a man, so what do you want other men to do that you can't? What do you want other men to do that you can't? You want, like, for instance, you're a man and you're arguing with a woman. You want us as men to be like, let me hold this woman back? For the fuck what? You're a fucking grown-ass man. Why the hell can't you just do it? Imagine this joke Ultimatus was saying. He was like, you know, one time he was double parked on the phone, right? And, you know, you're not supposed to double park, right? So he's double parked on the phone, and there's like part of the reason why he's double parked because there's a fire hydrant in front of him, right? In front of the car that he's parked next to. So obviously you're not supposed to park next to a fire hydrant. And you're not supposed to double park either, but it's better to double park while you're in the car than to park next to a fire hydrant, right? So Multimatic, he's a lawyer, he understands that. So he's sitting down at the next to the double park, and some white boy comes to the window while he's on the phone. Okay, he's on the phone, he's in his car, he's talking. White boy comes to the window, knocks on the window, and is like, hey man, why don't you park next to the fire hydrant? And, you know, Multimatic is like, look, I'm on the phone, I'm good, right? And the guy, knocks again. He's like, look, man, I'm a police officer, right? You know, he's dressed up in a police officer attire. He's like, look, I'm telling you, it's okay to park next to the fire hydrant, right? And the Multimatic's like, no, I'm good, I'm over here. And he's like, knocks again. And the police officer's like, look, man, I'm telling you, because this thing too, if a police officer says you could do something in America, which is really sad, but it's true. If a police officer says you could do something, you could actually do it. Okay, because police officer said you can do it, right? They're the law essentially. I don't know, Judge Dredd, right? So the guy says again, look, man, I'm telling you, here's my badge. I'm a police officer. I'm telling you that you can park next to this fire hydrant. And Automatic says, well, if it's so legal, why don't you go do it? The police officer just walked off. And it's like, but that's the mentality you got to come at. It's like, what do you want other men to do when a woman is attacking you? You want them to be a man and stop her from attacking you? You're a fucking man. You do it. Like, why did you do it? I don't have, like, cause, I mean, if you want me to join a fight against a white man, I understand that. If you want me to join your fight against a woman, that don't make no sense to me. So I say, if a man wants to stop a woman attacking him, then he should just stop a woman from attacking him. What is the story behind these men's sob stories? Someone saw a woman attacking a man and yelled at him. So what? They misjudged the situation. So what? What does this sound like? So you know, this brother Jerry Poole, he's pretty cool. He says, he's the one that retweeted it, you know, because a lot of times I see a lot of this gender stuff from him, which is cool. You know, it's all right, but it's whatever. He says, I took the point that this black men are automatically assumed to be the dangerous aggressor in all confrontations, which not only put our lives in peril, but the lives of our families in peril, because if we're erroneously removed, who's left to protect? Not a side story. It's infuriating, right? So I'm gonna, you know, comment on this a little bit later, but, you know, here's another one. It's like this. I retweeted my own comment because that's who I am. I said, look, expecting black men to be men is actually a bad take in black conscious spaces, unfortunately. And see, this is December 18th. You know, before anybody says I'm waffling and I don't like, you know, and I don't think. I'm telling you, December 18th, I was like, yeah, unfortunately, a lot of black men are not going to be men in the black conscious spaces. Black men must be victims too. They can't be the strongest in the room. They must be seen as vying for the weakest. I hate that about 2023. So even though, because when Brother McCarthy's gonna tell us later, hey man, we're all cowards, and our brother, Koku's gonna say, oh, he's waffling, but it's like, it's true. A lot of our people, like a lot of black men in America, especially, want to be the victim. They want to be the victim. Like this story that we just read, that's a black man saying, "Ugh, woe is me. This woman, I saw a divorced couple, and the woman attacked him first. And then he got out of the car, and I don't know, it sounded like he was busting her ass in the middle of the fucking street. And somebody saw that and was like, damn, why are you busting her? Like, stop busting her ass in the fucking street. It's like, yeah, absolutely. What are you fighting a woman for? All you got to do, and I think I say it here, right here, I said, look, when I was younger, so this is an important incident in my life. When I was younger, I accidentally slapped my older brother in the face. I don't know why. I don't even know how. But I just struck. It was weird. It didn't make any sense. Just reflex. Man nearly went into a blood rage. My brother was really, really angry. And that's the thing I learned. That men, I think I got slapped one time in the face and I got pissed too. Men have a trigger on their faces. Okay? Men have a trigger on their faces. Part of being an animal, whatever. You slap a man in the face, he gets pissed. I finally was able to watch one of them, I'm not too big a fan of anime, but I heard of Dragon Ball, and I finally got to see this guy Brawly. For those of you who don't know. But, yeah, just that kind of bloodlust. Like, I think every man has it. You slap a man in the face, he gets angry. I think that's part of the reason why you have those old school duels where you take out your glove and slap a man in the face, then he's like, okay, I'm going to kill you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, if you want a man to want to kill you, slap him in the face. If you want a man to, like, you punch a guy in the face, that's different. You know, you're like, oh, he's like, oh, shit, my nose, right? But you slap a guy in the face, and he becomes pissed. And the irony is that, it used to be common to think that, like, a woman should slap a man in the face. Don't do that. Like, that's the last thing you want to do. But anyway, so I said, later said when I was younger, I slapped my brother in the face. He had this bloodlust, and I was really apologetic. And he said, Oni, just leave before I hurt you. And I didn't even think twice. I didn't even ask twice. There's no story where I'm just slapping my brother and chilling. Like, there's no story where I'm just slapping this guy and he's not doing shit. Doesn't even make any damn sense. If you're a man, nobody's just slapping you in the face and you're not doing shit. And I'm not saying that there aren't, black people who don't do shit while they're slapped in the face. What I'm saying is that if you're a man, right? Unless that other motherfucker had some sort of fucking, some weaponry advantage, like some serious weaponry advantage, you're not letting nobody just slap you in the damn face. Unless he has some serious weaponry advantage or he's just some really big motherfucker, right? But in that case, if he is the bigger party, like if you're the bigger party and you're just getting slapped in the face like it's nothing, something wrong with you. Like, again, unless there's like that weapon, unless there's like that fear, but that's the problem with this situation. You're a man, she's your woman, this is you're the husband, she's your wife. Why are you letting her slap you around? Why are you letting her slap you around? If you're letting her slap you around, no doubt she's not going to respect you because you're not a fucking man. One thing I can tell you about this woman in Africa, love her. There is no world where she's even thinking of slapping me. No physical altercation between us. None. Now, I'm not saying there's no love taps. I'm not saying I ain't never, slap that ass, right? I'm just saying, spanking I'm talking, right? Like sexual, right? But I'm saying there's no circumstance where she's like, shut the fuck up, slap in the face. No, it does not. It's not like, it's not even a thing. It's not even a thing. So I share this to say, if you are the bigger physical party, assert your strength decisively. Any onlooker to a bigger party tussling with a smaller one will look at the bigger one as demented. Something's fucking wrong with you. A woman attacks you while you're driving, pull over, toss her out, and drive off. WTF. And his brother, Jerry says, you're free, bro. I like that. And that's the thing. You got to be a free man. Like, I tell y'all this, man. One time I was with this woman. Like, sometimes I'm with women. They piss me the fuck off. Okay? They piss me off. You know what I do? I tell them to leave. And if they do not leave, I pick them up and put them outside. I don't care if they have clothes on or not. I don't care if they have clothes on or not. I tell you to go outside. I use my serious voice. You're going outside. You understand? Because I'm a man. And I'm not saying, and again, I'm not hitting her. You understand? I'm not hitting her. I would stop her from hitting me. But at the end of the day, if I tell you, if you're a man, you tell them, you say jump, and they jump. That's it. And it might sound like sexist, but it's not. It's really, at some point, you gotta have a fucking dick. You gotta have a dick. Anyway, so let's just go on to the next one. This was a you guys can listen to this. This is some kid. Pretty interesting story. Malawi, 17 years old, found a way to give everybody free internet, build his own radio, all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't just think it's free internet. I'm not saying you can't build a device that taps into the internet network, but somebody's paying for that internet and you're just stealing it. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't build the internet network. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But I'll be honest, this kid seems very inventive and intelligent, but if Africa is serious about being an inventive continent, this sort of genius should be more common and more institutional. Schools should be pumping out inventors. Otherwise, what is the purpose? And that's the thing that I want you guys to know. One thing I want to do when we finish with this book, I want black people to be serious about, when we send our kids to school, those kids learn how to build devices, learn how to do engineering. Because when I was telling you guys about that uranium stuff, and I guess I shouldn't be talking about it, but when I tell you guys about that stuff, that requires an engineering solution. Okay? The science is self-evident. Get uranium-238. No, uranium-235 from uranium-238. How you do that is you have to move this product at a certain speed that you cannot, that most people do not have the engineering capacity to do. That Japan in 1940, with its slew of physicists, couldn't accomplish in time. Couldn't accomplish in a short amount of time. Now, obviously, you have all the time in the world to do this, but again, you're not at the technological level, you're not at the scientific level of 1940s Japan or 1940s America, unless you really put your people to the task. And most of your people are not at that level. And, that's just being honest. So, Kamjiverse says, expecting black men to be men in America is about money. Ain't no loyalty without jobs and checks, and that's that's what it is. Brother Controversy is a good brother. So this is a sister. She's like, look, she's a high paying woman, right? Woman is going viral for her views on marriage. I can't wait to get married and give my husband control over our finances. I don't even want to see a bill. Just let me know how much I can spend every month. She's a physician assistant whose average salary is $100,000 a year, right? So what her real tweet was, I can't wait to get married and give my husband control over our finances. I just don't want to see a bill. So let me know how much I can spend every month, baby. Right? So then this idiot, and this is the thing that, and this is the thing, when Brother Bakari was saying, we can't see ourselves winning, now this had nothing to do with the panel yesterday. I'll put that out right now. But there's a lot of motherfucking queers in the black community who definitely can't see black people having a good relationship. And this is what I mean about what do you bring to the table. Queers have no business in heterosexual relationships. You know, you gotta say, what do you bring to the table? You have no skin in the game of a heterosexual relationship. Shut the fuck up. Go somewhere. But because black people allow anybody and everybody in any conversation, in every conversation, right? You have this queer. He says, sounds like several Dateline episodes I've seen. Why the fuck are you watching Dateline? Right? But just like the one where the man managed all the finances and ended up killing his wife for insurance money, and because she was about to figure out they were being evicted due to home foreclosure, this is an abject naivete. So basically he's saying, I saw a show, right, where it was, you know, one family had a bad situation. Therefore, I think this woman should not, you know, so and a lot of people were agreeing with him. So I say you insult a woman for wanting a lifestyle you disagree with because you once saw something completely unrelated on a documentary series with many, many different scenarios. That's what it is. And that's another thing too. You know, Neely Fuller Jr., he said the same thing. He says, Neely Fuller Jr. says that women, no, he gets all of his information from watching movies and TV. And it's like, if you're watching movies and TV, this is right here is a good story. But this is a good story too. Anyway, so you see, a lot of people are like, yes, the home finance should be a shared responsibility. I just watched this episode recently. I know this one. They had kids together too. I listened to the true crime, blah, blah, blah. You know, John List and all the others. Basically, the scenario of fatal attraction all the time. Basically, like kind of like what I was saying, black people do not see themselves winning. And so this is an example of a woman who says, because there are plenty of couples who are winning in this way. A woman just gets a salary. Or for instance, for my woman, it's like, just manage a business, you know, and you know, you have me, backup, right? All that kind of stuff. If you do not have like what you really want is for like honestly, you wouldn't even want your woman working at this high paying job, only because you know, how is she going to be available for you? You know, how is she going to be available for you? Like if she's I'm pulling an all nighter, I'm pulling a 12-hour shift, I'm pulling an 18-hour shift. You know, if you want some buns, how are you going to get the buns? You know, you know, and that is what it is. And now you might be like, well, if she wants buns and she's at home, how is she going to get the buns? Well, you're coming home. You know what I'm saying? like, oh no, sorry, not buns. My fault. You know what I'm saying, right? She wants hot dog, I guess. I don't know, sausage. But anyway, you know what you put. Yeah, whatever. You guys get it. All right, so here's another one. My brother Omo Ifa. This is a socialist, but he's good people. He says, I hate the religious victim mentality, any criticism as they act like they are the most targeted and oppressed group in history, especially Christians, and that's a thing. A victim mentality is a thing in religion, and you guys know that. This was actually pretty interesting. I'm surprised. See, my thing is, I don't know how far to go back, because I can't remember what day. I should have just done the math, honestly. But this guy is talking about fake products in Nigeria. This is a really interesting article. I'm not going to read this. You guys, I'll go through it slowly. On the reread, on the rewatch, if you rewatch it, just pause, read the story. Basically, long story short, and obviously, you know, pause on the mute or whatever. But long story short, the guy is in Nigeria. He wants to do business. He wants to do manufacturing. And people are like, do not manufacture products. Just make or buy fake products and sell them as real products. Right? That's going to be your best way to make money. And of course, I think he does try his business. It doesn't work out. And the people who do the fake business, it does work out for them. But I say, look, how to industrial Africa and how not to. Bro said him and his mates were going to liquidate their savings in order to gain thin margins in manufacturing, but his co-nationals informed him they'd undercut him. Like, the people in his country were like, hey, you know what? Even if you tried that shit, if you tried to manufacture something, you know, we would just make your fake products and just, you know, we would just sabotage your business. And I said, look, Africa could industrialize overnight when our mindset is adjusted, right? If your government has no problem with you doing... Like, for instance, when I was in Tanzania, I'll tell you guys this. You could buy and sell American movies. Like, remember the counterfeit market? Remember how I used to have, like, people who would do counterfeit in America, like counterfeit movies and all that kind of shit. And now you kind of don't see it as much, right? Yeah, America cracked down on it. Or, like, we used to be able to steal music online, and then, you know, like Napster and shit, and then you can't do that as easily anymore, or Pirate Bay and torrent, you know, all that kind of stuff. You can't do that as easy anymore. In Tanzania, it's easy work. You just say, I want to watch the latest Spider-Man. We got you. Here's it on a USB. Right? And that's fine. Undercutting Americans, I don't really give a shit. You know? But when you're undercutting your own brothers and sisters, that's where you got a problem. So you got this brother, like I said, my brother Tyler, he says, I started to read what he wrote. Focusing on fast money and counterfeit products means no satellites, bombs, nor an aerospace industry will ever come from there if that's the average mindset of the citizenry. And I said, look, a system of low regulation means that anyone can undercut or sabotage anyone with limited legal recourse. In the U.S., people complain that the police protect property, but lacking their protection of property, legitimate businesses rarely prosper, and illegitimate businesses can. And he says exactly why they leave their home country and continent to build up the white man's. All quite insidious, if you ask me, right? So anyway, that's our little conversation. My brother King T, this is a good brother too. He says, why politics and economics always go together? The right regulatory environment would make manufacturing thrive. And then somebody says, certain leaders profit from the lack of it, though. Exactly. Somebody else says, the normal guy says that. Pretty interesting. So we just read these comments. Exactly why they leave their blah, blah. Nobody to a white woman. Why can't you be more like Coretta Scott King? And the white woman says Coretta Scott King's husband went to jail, and y'all need to stop messing with these two-legged dogs. So y'all already know that story. Some actor was whatever. So this is the book that my son screwed up in Zinga book. But if you want to listen to the first chapter, you can. Brother Koku played the first 15 minutes of this. This was an interesting read. I guess they deleted it though, so you always got to act on it quickly. Oh, this was interesting too. This was interesting. I think we're gonna play this on Shoot the Breeze, hopefully someday. But I said he reminded me how. Oh yeah. So I told this little personal story about. Long story short, this white guy told me, if you get the royal woman pregnant, you should kill her, right? And I was going to say that black people don't talk like that, but apparently, if this is not scripted, there's a TikTok video of this woman. This guy, I guess he told this woman to prank his her F buddy or whatever, say he's pregnant, she's pregnant, and yeah, he's like, I'm going to kill you. So it's pretty interesting. But like that's the trouble with our people. It's like there's something wrong. But anyway, going to December 19th, so we're pretty close to where we are today. This is Dwayne Wong. He's talking about the Pretendian movement. This is my poem on peace. It's actually a good poem. So this is breaking news. Says UN Security Council unanimously adopts resolution initiating the end of operations of UN's peacekeeping mission in DRC. All 15 members voted in favor. For 3 decades, the mission has achieved nothing. So this is an African telling you, hey, the UN didn't achieve anything in the last 3 decades in terms of bringing peace to the middle, to Congo. Right? I almost gave that common rhyme. Let me see what the chat's like. I'm going to use my phone to see. Although, like I said, okay, there's no more comments. All right, so I got time to read my poem then. So, so the poem. This is a poem I wrote back in who knows, like 2000 or some shit. You know what I mean? But it goes this. Peace tells teachers to temper your brightness. Peace pushes pastors to give praises to whiteness. Peace discusses Douglas but doesn't mention Delaney. Peace shot several Evers, Malcolm, King, Cheney. You kind of see I'm kind of in America, right? Peace makes movies on everything but blacks. Peace hushes historians who expresses the facts. Peace details doctors on your lack of insurance. Peace blasts bullets with wicked warrants. Peace nests New York's waste in the Black South. Peace nests nuclear waste in the Black South. Peace wages wars of gore on your continent. Peace appreciates Africans who are not self-confident. Peace nudges non-blacks to siphon your money. Peace calls comedians who curse you funny. Peace sent squadrons against the Seminoles. Peace said states don't mention the Seminoles. Peace bought billboards to say blackness is bad. Peace designed dynamite to sodomize your dad. Peace demands disorganization among Africans. Peace opines a Tsar wasn't born among Ethiopians. Peace ridiculed rituals that resembled your ancestry. Peace put prostitution as a career in your family. Peace yanked you from your land, then said, forget your history. Peace is their passion. What they call peace is your misery. And so I'm saying this to say, look, nobody really cared for this, right? So I'm like, whatever. But I said this to say this. Yeah, the UN brought peace to fucking Congo. But you gotta understand that peace is subjective. Peace is subjective. And by the UN, what is peace for the Congo is being able to exploit the Congo. And the only people dying over the Congolese resources are the Congolese themselves. No UN are dying, that's peace. No Europeans are dying, that's peace. Congolese are suffering, that's peace too. And you got to understand that. If you don't understand that, that's your problem. Right? So we're going to go into, like I said, nobody likes my music takes. But here's a comment on some music. I said I was in the grocery store and they played a clean version of the song from Rush Hour by Jay-Z. The song is Can I Get a, well, it's actually Can I Get a FU. But anyway. So the first line of the song is, can I hit it in the morning without giving you half of my dough? And even worse, if I were broke, would you want me? So I'm saying to myself, not only is this big simping, but damn, half of his money. And it's not even like his wife or nothing. This is just like a girl he's hanging out with. He's giving her half his fucking paycheck just for sex. And it's like, this is a popular song. Like, this is a bop. Low key. This is the other thing I learned. I was doing a music binge, I guess. There's a song by Tupac called Do for Love. And so I looked at the old song, the original one. And it's like, what you won't do for love. You try everything. No, you try everything, but don't give up. All right, anyway. Oh, white boy singing that song. That's crazy. All right, let me go on. Next thing. Nobody cares. I was actually wondering about this lady the other day. This is Pinky Doll, but I'm not going to play too much of that. This was, so Brother Macari put out a video of a Native American, right? And the Native American was talking to him, and he was like, apparently the natives called Africans buffalo soldiers. Because they never saw black people's hair before. And they were like buffalo. Like, essentially, the Native American guy was saying that because the black people were so strong and, fierce, and they had this different hairstyle, they thought the buffaloes came to life. They were like mythical creatures. And they called them buffalo soldiers, right? So I said, my brother interviewed a native who was saying at their forums, they know black folk trying to swagger jack them. And so you guys can check out the video. But like this, I thought this was pretty interesting. This is what the buffalo's hair looks like. Ain't that crazy? Like if a black man had this kind of hair, you would just tell him he should probably comb it out. Use an Afro pick, right? But like, especially the top part right here, like, yeah, I think I had this hairstyle a couple of times. This was a sister. She's crying because she can't find love. She can't find a relationship. And this is the reality. Like there are women in America right now who are like this woman told me. She said she hadn't had sleep in 3 years. She hasn't slept in 3 years. Now, her child is 4. She hasn't had good sleep in 3 years. And this is the thing that I'm trying to tell people. we're gonna say it's sexist. Like I say, so I'll be called a sexist if I pontificate on gender roles. But how many women must suffer before society realizes that this social experiment failed and older models can be improved upon? You're giving these women this independent life, and that's fine, but humans are an interdependent species. When men are independent and women are independent, we're both suffering. And I tell you guys, I only know one white boy. And, I'm doing some spying shit, right? And this white boy was telling me, look, man, like for years, this white boy was telling me he got insomnia. He has insomnia. He can't sleep. And I said, dude, just go get laid. He's like, no, blah, blah, I'm trying to get laid, but it's hard and blah, 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 blah. This guy finally gets a relationship. When he's in this relationship, he is sleeping well. Why? Because even white folk need a partner in life. Even white folk need a partner in life to sleep. And so I found this other sister in Tanzania, friend zone. She's like, I can't sleep. I have insomnia, sleep deprivation, right? And so I'm going to look for the chat right now, matter of fact, right? And she's like, I'm like, look, girl, go get yourself a man, right? Go get yourself a man. And she says, okay, I'll listen to you. I'll do that. So I wrote her, I think, Friday. I said, how about you? How's your sleep now? So this was last week. She says, I still have insomnia, but all is well. So I say, what about when you sleep over with your man? She says, when I sleep over, I get plenty of sleep. And I say, see? I don't know if she, yeah. But yeah, I said, see, whatever, right? I think eventually she's like, I said, either way, I told you a boyfriend and sex will help you sleep. And she goes, of course you did. You understand? And that's what it is. You like I tell y'all, I had this woman in Tanzania. It was the best relationship, best experience I've had in my life. Living with a good woman is the best experience you will have in your life. And every man who lives with a good woman will tell you the same thing. Every man who lives with a good woman will tell you the same thing. These women are sitting down crying with their cats. Okay? Because they're not living with a good man. Because society told them, hey, look, earn your own fucking keep. Earn your own living, and blah, 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 blah. The men aren't looking for those women. Because, see, the woman in Africa, she's not some CEO. You know what I mean? She's not the CEO. She's not this or somebody. She's still the best damn woman for me. If I tell you guys just the details of how good this woman is, you like it's unbelievable. But what I'm saying, I don't want to, again, she might be listening, so I gotta, I shouldn't even gas her up too much. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is this. You do want things. So like there was this somebody else said a joke. They said women dating before and after the age of 30. Before 30 she's casual. At 30 she's sitting up serious. And that's like women have it hard exactly because they're told to be men, and men do not need to date or marry men. Like I tell you, even the American women will tell you, hey, you know what? We can both work together. We can both go to work and so on and so forth. That does not work. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's playing with fire. First off, she's going to go to work. She's going to be in the competitive drama that she doesn't need to be in. She's going to be in the competitive drama that she doesn't need in. She's going to be tired when she gets home. And like I said, at home is not 24-hour work. But it's better if a woman is not doing something else. If she's going to the grocery store for 3 hours, right? it's better that she's not going to work for 8. Okay? It's better if she just goes to the grocery store for 3 hours and doesn't have any other sort of obligation that would take away from that. Okay? You are playing with fire when you're dating American women. You know? American women, some of them don't even have time to freaking date. And you might be like, oh, they're just saying that because they don't have time to date you. Possibly. There's no men in the dating market for women anymore. It's just boys. So this is, I think it's a sister, Azanian Psycho. So there's no date. And I mean, look, it goes both ways. Like I said, it goes both ways. This is actually pretty cool. This is a Chinese internet meme. So they say, look, if you support Palestine and you support Ukraine, then you're probably following the ideology of anti-warism. If you support Palestine and you support Russia, you fully understand the core of international geopolitics, right? If you support Ukraine and you support Israel, you're probably a dog of the U.S. empire. But if you support Russia and you support Israel, it's probably social Darwinism. Now, honestly, I don't know what social Darwinism is supposed to mean in that sense. I think I was like, let me put this up so that I could thing. So I don't know. I wish I could read the comments later. But it is what it is. I guess I can't really tell what it's supposed to mean. I know I can't remember what's supposed to. I remember social Darwinism. I don't remember. Oh, survival of the fittest. Okay, so they're pretty much saying they support the stronger states. I think. I think that's what it is. Which is a policy. You know, a lot of times people stand by. Now, obviously, I'm of this camp, the upper right camp. Although, like I said, it is a thing I want people to realize. I know this American woman, and again, I'm not debating Americans or anything, who is like, she's here, dogs of the U.S. empire. A lot of Americans are dogs of the U.S. empire. Now, the rationale she had between Ukraine and Russia was that Ukraine is a mass producer of like wheat or something like that, and therefore, like the supply of food, if Russia gets that supply of food, America is in trouble, right? But of course, that's what I'm saying. Dogs of the U.S. empire. You know what I mean? Because it's like the stake that they have is in America. Now, I get it. I get why, but I don't feel that. I don't personally, like me personally. I'm like whatever. You know, as long as I could leave, and of course, if I can't leave, I can't leave. You know, I could support. The women abroad, and that's it. Or if I, and even if, like, again, or even if I can't, like, it's whatever. Again, this country is the problem. The Europeans are the problem, and this is the next post kind of highlights it. It says the European Union has vowed to permanently shut down Twitter if Elon Musk doesn't immediately ban alternative media from the platform, because EU won't survive with free speech. And so the EU to permanently shut down X if Musk doesn't ban alternative media. And it's fact checked. Okay, it's fact checked. So anyway, this was actually so I kind of went too long on other stuff, so I'm not going to go into this stuff too much. This was the article I was supposed to read for this. It's pretty interesting. I'm working on a book, and I'm quoting Jope and Williams because I want to go into gender roles. This is Check Out the Jope on gender roles. So you guys pause the screen. Let me see if I could. Yeah, pause the screen. Read this. Okay, read this. But basically, this is Chancellor Williams. He's gonna tell you, hey, look, boys and girls used to work differently, and girls were taught to, essentially help their mothers. Boys were taught to help their fathers, and eventually, boys were taught to become their fathers. And girls were taught to become their mothers. And their mothers were wives, and their fathers were husbands. Okay? And the wives had a different role than the husbands. If you don't, and this is the thing, societies are not teaching you this anymore. They're teaching boys and girls to play the same damn roles, to be husbands. Both of them husbands. The woman should pay half the bills. Right? The woman should pay her share. The woman should buy the house. The woman should do blah, blah, blah. You both save together and buy the house. That's fine, until you get into the nuances and the nitty gritty, and it's not going to work. And then it gets worse if the man falls behind. When the man falls behind, that's it. You done fucked up. You done fucked up. You understand? Because now all of a sudden, you're the one should be washing dishes and cooking. But you understand? Not even going to go into that. Women have it hard, exactly. And yeah, so, bit of medicine says straight men are allergic to men, ladies. Right? That's it. What is this? So, this is a quote excerpt from Chancellor Williams. I actually didn't read it. I think I was supposed to read it on live. But basically, Chancellor Williams is like, wanted leaders and African ideology. So what I'm writing right now is going to be an African ideology. You guys stay tuned. But this brother asked me, what is the best criticism against Marxism? And it's like, you can't really talk about it in public. You know, I'll write about it though. And he says, and he talks about thing. So he's a good brother too. Mazi. Make sure you guys check him out. This was an interview. I don't think I actually listened to it, but it is what it is. This was interesting too. So I had this conversation with some sister in Africa. Weird. So I say, she's like, do you believe in God? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, why is your God a him? Okay? Is it because it cannot reproduce? Does it have a penis? You know, a computer isn't a him. How does a God, which you're supposing is the only of its kind, get to be a him? Now remember, him means male, right? Everybody's like, hey man, do you believe in him, the father, blah, blah. Okay, look. If it's a singular entity, okay? A singular entity doesn't reproduce, doesn't have any alleles or whatever, doesn't have any fucking DNA, right? If it's a singular entity, then it cannot have a gender. Okay? Like for instance, in fact, even if I want to say this, like a worm, I'm not sure if it's a worm or not, but I think there are some, like amoeba, right? An amoeba, you don't refer to an amoeba as a him or a her. Now, usually you wouldn't refer to any freaking, viruses or bacteria or anything as the him or her, but if you had to, you could identify certain microscopic entities as male or female. But like amoebas or something, I don't know, worms or I don't know, some of these starfish, I don't know, but some of them are not like they do not have genders. I don't know, maybe starfish do. I'm not a fucking biologist, right? But what I'm going to say is that if it's a singular entity, why are you saying it's a him? So I say, this lady, I'm not even trying to chat, believes in a God as described by the Bible. So what happened to believing things with peer review, right? Sometimes people are like, hey man, is it peer reviewed? Like that white boy on my book, it doesn't follow the peer review, right? Okay, so who's the peer reviewing the Bible? So she sends me a voice note like, some people doubt religion. So I decided to challenge her religion because I'm not interested in her. So I say, some people doubt religion, like some doubt religion because we got it from colonialism. So she sends me a voice note, and I could play it, but I forget it. I say, it's crazy how the ignorant know information but don't know strategy. I think that's really the big difference I've seen encountering through my life. So through my life, I realized people have, there's not that big a information gap. There's a big strategy gap, like information gap. Some people believe that there should be a nuclear weapon. Some people don't. Strategy gap, however, you can't do it. You can't pull it off. You don't even, like for instance, in this movie, in order to get this thing spinning at the rate it had to, they had to use so much energy, so much power, and they still didn't get it spinning at the right speed. But they had to get it. They had to use so much power. You let this white man control how much power you can use. You understand? You let him control how much power you can use. Now, I'm not saying you can't hook up other batteries. I'm saying there's obviously a way around this. And I don't want the chat to cut off again. But anyway. Alright, so bruh, she even typed it out. Look at Whitey objectively. He's collectively done some impressive shit. She writes, I say, in a book with no peer review. She says, only faith is something make us calm when we doubt about him. Maybe it's a lie. We don't know. I said, no, I don't believe in that book. There's blatant lies and incorrect assumptions in it. So she sends me the voice note. He says, of course, sometimes religious was as a way to colonize Africa. They soften our heart through religion and civilize us to be calm so that they can get wealth easily. This is a woman who's pushing religion on me. Oh, you believe in God? What religion are you? And I'm like, a God is him. Who? And then all of a sudden it's, the God of the Bible. I'm like, oh, that God? No, not at all. And she's like, yeah, you know what? It was a way to colonize Africa and get our wealth easily. That's not me. Some rando. So then I pressed the question. I say, well, look. So I said, edit the name, but yeah, so I edited her name to redacted because, she deserves some privacy. So I say, yeah, this conversation started after they asked if I believe, so I asked if anyone does. Because I asked, does anybody believe with this guy? Because, you guys just say belief and faith. If you got to say believe, imagine this debate this Arab guy had. He's like, if you got to ask me, do I believe men and women are equal? If you got to ask me that, then you obviously don't believe it. Right? Because if it was something that were true, you wouldn't ask me if I believed it. You wouldn't say, "Did you believe you breathe oxygen?" Like, of course I do. Like, you wouldn't ask that. And it's the same with this God thing. It's like, if you really believed it, you wouldn't ask me. Yeah, like if this guy were real, you wouldn't have any. Your rationale, your reasoning behind why you believe in it wouldn't be, I have faith. Because you say I have faith just means that you really don't believe it, honestly. So I edited the name, but yeah, this conversation started after they asked if I believe, so I asked if anyone does. This does not sound like a believer, but a hostage. There's hope, boy. So I say, so your belief is the people who wanted to colonize you, soften your heart, calm you down, and exploit you, also wanted to teach you on the mysteries of the universe so that after you may be rewarded in a bountiful afterlife. Like, that's your belief. Your belief is that these same people that wanted to exploit you taught you the truth. Now, I'm not saying there's no truth out there, and I don't think there is, but I'm not saying there's not. But if there were, if these people somehow possess the knowledge of this belief, they're doing it in secret. They're not telling you it. That doesn't make any damn motherfucking sense. So then she says this. This is pretty interesting. What shall we do? And this is the strategy thing I was talking about. Our society adopted and make it as a habit and lifestyle. And we can't be out of the lifestyle sometimes. They may think you are so cruel and stupid, there's no means to escape. And life is a choice. So she said, look, a lot of us are religious because some of us will be violent with us if we aren't. And that's what it is. I remember when I was in Ghana, I met these young kids and I said, look, man, why is it that you're all poor, but the pastor isn't? You know what I mean? Brother Bakari went to church today, right? Pastor living a good life because he makes that money every week. And the part of the reason why he makes that money every week is because when you putting down 10% of your income, you got 20 people. Whoever's collecting 10% of 20 people's income is getting twice as much as the average every week. Okay? Whoever's collecting 10% from 20 people is making twice as much as the average person. Okay? So if the congregation, even the congregation is broke, the congregation is large, and I'll tell you, some of them churches, I remember when I went to Ghana, some of them churches had like, I don't know, I want to say like 100-something people. You have 100-something people, put it in 10%, you get 10 times as much as the average. Now the average might not be high, but 10 times the average is in that area. Okay? So I said, look, that's what it is. And you know, a large part of religion is collecting that money. A large part of the Christian religion especially, collecting that money. Or the Jewish religion, collecting that money. Now the Muslims, they don't necessarily collect money. They put it into, they allegedly put it into charity. But even so, collecting that money is a business in and of itself. Okay? But I told these kids, you know, they were like 16, 14, whatever, right? I told them this, but I said, don't tell your parents I'm saying this. Why? Because I was in the middle of fucking Africa. And if word comes out, hey, you know what, there's one of these non-religious people among us, they might have done killed me. Okay? So my example of the man cheating wasn't the best, but in the end, this theism is just alien chatter. Aliens don't create planets. We see planets forming real time. Aliens don't do that shit. One of the things that really got me when I was in elementary school, honestly, was just thinking of the universe. Now, I wasn't thinking about astrophysics at the time when I was in elementary school, but really having an intimate knowledge of the universe kind of questions, you know, religion. So I said faith just means one doesn't believe, really, right? So I say faith just means one doesn't believe. I don't know. We used to believe things we don't know for sure. Exactly. Not knowing is a sign of disbelief. She says, that is the faith. I say, if you don't know if your man is cheating on you, you don't believe he is. Not fully. And that's not the best example. But I say, look, yes, they created their own word to justify not knowing something. You know, faith. I don't wish to discuss this. It makes no sense. Just saying, long story short, I have no reason to believe that some alien created this planet. She said, let's discuss another thing for sure. I'm like, there's no indication anywhere that aliens create planets. As an astrophysicist, okay, or in my brief stint as an astrophysicist, my task was to find out how stars were formed. And my task was, I was working on the mathematical equation to justify stellar formation. Okay, there is a mathematical equation to justify planetary formation. The story of the Bible is false. Absolutely false. Okay? The God of the Bible cannot be real. And that's just on mathematics. That's just on mathematics. Anyway, so I'm not saying there's no point in, I don't see the point in studying it, but I'm not saying there's no point in studying it. I'm just saying that God cannot be real. So I say, go to an intelligent person and say, out of small university, I read that there's a study where insert something completely unbelievable, and they'll likely ask for accreditation and whether it's peer reviewed. But tell someone a man can walk on water. You see what I'm saying? Early in Jesus' introduction, he tells us that the sun revolves around the earth, that the sun rises and falls or some shit like that. I don't know. That geocentric model has a vice grip on Europe, partly because Jesus himself, the so-called God and creator of the universe, didn't know that the earth revolved around the sun. How that makes sense. If I tell you that I created the train tracks and I grab the third reel and you warn me that it's electrical and I'm confused, then it's fair to doubt that I created the tracks. Not saying you need to know everything, but the earth revolves around the sun is basic. Like, if you created the freaking earth, you should have think. You should know that. So I say, fam, I didn't finish paying off this house. The way the price keeps randomly going up, it's looking like BTC. All right. I'm trying to rush through this thing. This was just a table I made. So these two paths. So there's two paths you can debate: Kang, how much pussy should cost, and where all the good men went, or you can buy your house, gate, and driveway in the city. I'm not arguing with homeless people. Opinions mean nothing. I'm showing you guys how to do some Excel papers. You can't tell me shit right now. Oh, you can't tell. This is Lero's brother. He dropped his crown. He's the king. Someone asked me in the next book to not quote anyone else and just write. Unfortunately, I can't resist quoting Dr. Chancellor Williams and Check on the Job. Pretty much just took their paragraphs to make a point with a bit of solid evidence. This is what it looks like so far. So you guys, like I said, you could just pause the video. This is my paragraph on Check on the Job's paragraphs. Right here, you pause the video. Obviously, like when you're listening again, this is my paragraph on Chancellor Williams, the first paragraph, and I kind of talk about how Africans call each other brothers and sisters, and that practice goes back to ancient Egypt too. It's pretty interesting. And then here's the other. You can pause right here too. Here's the other page on Chancellor Williams delineating how men and women, are trained differently. Like essentially, like I said, men are trained to be husbands, women are trained to be wives, and what that means, is what it is, right? So my brother had this big event last night. Oh yeah. So this is another thing right here. I probably shouldn't play the song, but you can kind of hear 2 seconds of it. All right, so basically these black men are complaining that black women are going to white men. And so his response is to make a little song, make a little ditty about it, and a lot of black people in the comments like, oh, this is a bop, but it's like, I'll be honest. Black men need to get more serious about serious matters. No woman cares if you make good music unless you're bringing home the bacon. Whitey is a lot of bad things, but he brings home bacon. If we do not get serious, I'm afraid we'll keep catching L's as a race. And I mean, again, this is all consistent. I want to say that because I've been told I've been inconsistent. But this is all consistent with this idea that you have to be a better man in order for women to like you. You have to really be a good man in order for women to like you. So I'm going to try to rush because obviously I've been talking forever. This was a thing. This is why is this black woman, like somebody says, why is this black woman wearing her hair like this? And it's partly because she's following the beauty standard. Men in the West grew up in Disney, blah, blah, blah. You guys could read that. This was actually fake. This was a fake video. They said, what's the moral of the story? They have a crab eating bread while he's being cooked in soup, but it's not a real video. They just edited it so it looks like it. The crab is not in the soup. They just edited it. Lero's saying she's a bad person, so that's it. It's not that important. This is a song by the Rolling Stones. Some guys listening to it, and the words are like slave Gold Coast and all that kind of stuff. And then I just made a joke about being a Native American. So Bit of Medicine says, something I'm realizing is the conscious community, black men hate black men. So I was wondering what he meant by that. I don't personally hate black men, obviously. I'm a black man myself, but it is what it is. I need more Swahili on my TL. I don't have enough. Yeah, it's a lot of English. Living with purpose makes living without purpose dull. There was a mass shooting in Prague. Let's keep going. If your woman isn't a revolutionary, she will convince you to be a slave. That's an interesting quote. It's not really, but it is whatever. 71-year-old man exonerated after nearly 50 years in prison for murder he did not commit. I said blood clot, 50 years, man. This is some white boy saying that Westerners are blah, blah. You guys can check this out. This is an interesting story. I don't want to play it because, like I said, we're running low on time. But basically, this guy is saying that he tells this 80-year-old firefighter, have a nice day or whatever, right? And the 80-year-old firefighter says, you know what? He regrets some things. And basically, what he regrets as a firefighter is how many black people he saw in fires that he could have stopped that he did nothing to save them. And like the last one he said was a burning black baby. Okay, like it was a baby in a fire, and he pretended he looked for the baby and he couldn't find the baby, so the baby died from that, right? And I want people to, I think it's a tragic story, kind of, sort of, but I want people to realize that sort of resolve that these white people have, you might not have that resolve. Like, if you hear of a white baby burning in a fucking house, you might run into that building to get that white baby to safety. Good for fucking you. But the resolve the white person has where they're like, you know what? A black baby burning is not my problem. You probably don't have that. You probably don't have that resolve. And that's why when the fight comes, right? Unfortunately, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, if you had more fight in you, It's different. If you don't have the fight in you, that's different too. So I said, stay away from American relationships. It's not worth it. Yet passport up if you love family. What is this? I was commenting on something. Oh, I spoke with a lawyer about custody. Man, is like one of the problems with having a child with an American is if you want physical custody, you need to keep the child in America. If the mother wants the child in America. So I said, look, don't even go with the American relationship. Tyler says, take one one step further and get your citizenship outside of America. Like, I dump your citizenship. It's like, yeah, maybe. But anyway, so it says, don't think that because the white man can smile on your face that he also has some obligation to save your life. He doesn't and often will not. He'll endanger you more often than he'll bring you to safety. You're an endangered species in this nation. You know, if the white man is doing your fires and all that shit, trust me. Okay? Trust me. Don't trust him. Lero's discovering fentanyl in the weed. That's been a story, though. So then somebody responds to this, self-love is the answer. And I said, that's not true. No, Mitchell, she's like pro-China, but it's cool. She's cool. She says, this is not true. Like it or not, you are not really complete without others. No man is an island. You need love, affection, a solid relationship, and a bottle of red wine. I say, see, you stray too far from science and you end up with ignorance. The male and female lion occupy separate roles. The male and female hyena, separate role. The male and female damn bees, different roles. Humans want equality and end up with self-love and chronic loneliness. There was a lot of electrical outages in Tanzania. The president of Tanzania fired the entire electricity board over repeated blackouts. So that's pretty interesting. My sister Cicely, she's pretty cool. She said the doctor suffocated Dr. King, EMT, and 12 routinely leave gunshot victims to die on the streets. One of the most dangerous activities for a black woman in Chicago is giving birth in a hospital. The game continues until we become aware of our power to stop it, right? So she's pretty cool. Cicely, one of the few people I've met on Twitter. But anyway, so the whole continent must deal with corruption decisively where consequences far outweigh the benefit. I spoke with the lawyer, like I said. What else is this? I said I feel like putting a Neely Fuller. I think I'm talking for too long, guys. So I'm trying to rush through. I feel like pulling a Neely Fuller and writing a dictionary, telling people how and when to use words like racism, do not use the word, instead use white power. Capitalism, do not use the word, instead use white financial system. Communism, do not use the word, and so on. So my brother says, what should we say instead of communism? And I say, I won't even discuss it. That's how Fuller does his book. But yeah, it's fantasy economics, and we should be able to dabble in realistic economics. I just asked Swahili Bay for a Swahili word. So, y'all keep showing. This is another post that says, if you are productive, what product do you have? Simple math, right? And that's the thing. You have to be productive. This was Sister El Presidente. She's talking about you should have a third party, NPP and NDC. I think this is Ghana. I'm not sure. Ghana or Nigeria, one of the two. But so I asked, this, not taking any advice. So Tyler says, not taking any advice, be it health or life, from anyone who consumes poison. Alcohol has benefited me greatly. This is D Webb from the Harsh Reality Podcast. Make sure you guys check him out. He also has Hip Hop High Society. If you're into hip hop, check out that podcast as well. But he says, so if capitalism collapses tomorrow, and many of you who are constantly complaining about an economic system you don't even understand are still perpetual losers after the smoke clears, then what? And what's interesting is this. In the book Miseducation of the Negro, Carter G. Woodson talks about this same thing, where he's like, look, the people who were losers before the revolution are going to be losers after it too. And you got to process that. You got to get yourself into a position to be winners. You got to get yourself in a position to bring something to the table. Because if you don't, it is whatever. Like we have Bitter Medicine, again, says, I don't seek out FBA ADO's content, yet Twitter is always showing me there's imbeciles. Why? Y'all should be wondering why also, right? Then there was this big conversation about this guy, Simone Biles' husband, who was basically didn't know who she was at the time. And it was just a funny story. It wasn't a funny story. It was a story I wouldn't have told myself. But he told the story in front of her, and I guess she was giggling with it because she likes the story, and he's getting bashed over it, But it is what it is. This was something. This is nonsense. This was Ibrahim Traore when he was 18 or something. Good brother. Now he's the president of Burkina Faso, man. Good brother. Good brother. All right. What's this? Oh yeah, defending bride price in my next book. It's pretty interesting. You guys can read that. Pause it and read it. Ain't gonna lie, that did demote him a lot. Oh yeah, we were talking about how he was 5'11". It's pretty funny. Somebody said I made a good point the other day. This one says, meanwhile, the 95%. Sometimes the chains that prevent us from being free are more mental than physical. Like this horse is like, man, I'm chained because they got this chair. And it's like, dude, that chair, you're a 2,000 pound fucking animal. Or no, maybe 1,000 pound animal. Actually, I don't know how much a horse weighs. Probably 2,000 pounds. I don't know. But you're a 2,000 pound horse. That's a fucking, I don't know, 3 pound chair, right? You're not being chained down, but it is what it is. This guy is like, we should be liberated. We should be liberated. Like, that's the thing. All of us, we should be liberated. Liberated from what? It's actually a pretty interesting conversation, but I'm going to go through that. I'm just going to skip over it. Because it's like, what are you, when you say you want to be liberated, what can you not do that you should be reasonably able to do? You know? Like in the 19th century, you couldn't cross the street. But what could you not do today that you should reasonably be able to do? So I'm going to try to go through this quickly. Oh, damn, man. I wish I could read these things. Maybe I'll just read them on the thing. These are really interesting. So this is John Bruce. Pause this, read it. He's saying this. 50 to 80 years ago, the black men in America had businesses. 1810, in the city of Philadelphia, an insurance company was manned from president to janitor by black men, and it had a capital of $10,000. He's saying in 1810, the men of America were men. I wish I could have read this to you guys, but pause it, read it. It's good. It's a good reading. It's in the Book of Power. Okay, it's in the Book of Power. This next one, same January Bruce. What was the quote that I wanted to quote? He says, as long as the, and this was something that's why I wanted to read this when Brother Kari was here. But as long as the African continues to keep himself poor by making the white man rich, he will always be regarded as a huge joke. 1898, January Bruce. Guys, read this. Like I said, if I don't know why you guys don't have the Book of Power. A lot of people don't, and I get that. This is in that book. Okay, this is in that book. Pause, read, good shit. Okay. Let's see what's next. Create your own reality, knowledge of yourself, and living under someone else's reality. Yeah, I said, what can you not materially and concretely do? That's the thing about us people. We're trying to get away from material solutions. You know, the white man is stopping us from creating our own reality. What does that mean? You know, ask this woman in Tanzania, right? Are we creating our own reality? Absolutely. Now, are there some costs? Yeah. Are there some setbacks? Absolutely. But are we creating our own reality? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So anyway, so they say liberation is not individualistic, and I say, look, somewhat, blah, blah, blah. I wish you guys could see this. This is the thing I kind of want to show there. Here. Look. So you see, he's like, look, you're poor, you stress. You drink, then you drink. And you're still poor and you stress. So stop drinking. You stop drinking, you go to damn work. You work, you get some money. After you get some money, you work some more, you get some money, and you pay your debts. And you continue to work, and now you have savings, you collect money. Now you get an education. You make a stable life, and you start helping others. You start employing other people. You're now happy. Your wife loves you now. Your wife loves you now. Then you have a happy family. You start exercising with your wife. You start teaching others. You improve your society. Okay? You're no longer on the bottom. You're now in the middle. Improve your society. You improve your country. And that's it. Just stop drinking. Right? So I says, look, so the first man calls himself oppressed, but as soon as he implies himself in the game of life, others will call him oppressor. That's the life that we're at. That's where we're at. Where the first guy would be called, we'll say, oh, he's oppressed. He's a victim. You know, he's drinking because blah, blah, blah. And then so on and so forth. Anyway, I wrote 3 excellent books, blah, blah, blah. Let's keep going. Writing is a thinking aid, blah, blah, blah. This is me, I guess, 22nd. Somebody says, anybody who thinks the settler criminals that rule on the U.S. state, who can justify Gaza and will systematically murder, sanction, and attack nations globally to maintain white supremacy will provide reparations in any form of Africans is either delusional or an agent. You want reparations, defeat U.S. colonial capital settler states. And so this is where Brother Koku will say that I'm a waffle. But I did say, look, the other illusion is that you'll defeat U.S. colonial capitalism with the Africans who are begging for crumbs, reparations. If the situation in Gaza tell you anything, your neighbors can starve you and no one will help you. Yeah, it's confusion all around, right? But anyway, it is what it is. So there are hundreds of thousands of African mathematicians, and so somebody was saying that Africa already has scientific communities. We're just gonna skip through. This is the audio of Simone Biles' husband. It wasn't that bad. About owning white women, blah, blah, blah. Africans then versus Africans now. We're basically fighting each other over religion. So it's like, I can read this because it's a little funny meme. When are we going to hit the reset button? So Africans then, how are you, stranger? I'm from the remote kingdom in West Africa. I worship Sango, Ogun, and Eshu. What about you? I worship Sanswapi, Unungui, and Nomhoyi. As you can already tell, I'm a true son of Zulu. Please teach me how to worship Sango, right? Another one is like Africans now. It's like, you lie. Jesus is king for sacrificing his life for our sins, and we are the lost tribe of Israel. Give your life to Christ or burn in hell. No, you moron. Allah is greater than all of our ancestors migrated from Mecca. Stop worshiping your fellow man. Embrace the Sharia or burn in Jahannami, right? So anyway, I just thought that was interesting because I know some Muslims. This was kind of a silly tangent. This was interesting too. Somebody says, independent black women, we are the only race that has this. Ever heard of an independent Chinese woman? So I want people to, this is just for research purposes. While I agree with the message, I agree. You don't want this independent stuff. I can't help but wonder whether you speak Chinese Mandarin to say whether or not independent Chinese woman is a thing or not. In fact, an easy search tells you that, in fact, it may be a thing in China. This is a reminder to the reach of Europe. So, all you got to do to find out something is go to Google, type in English, independent Chinese woman, and look for the simplification in China, in Chinese Mandarin, right? Then you search for that simplification. And there's a whole internet that's in China. And you can click this link. Now, obviously, this is a BBC report, but yeah, there's a whole freaking article in Mandarin about this. And you could press translate this page. And it's independent Chinese women who challenge stereotypes. After China opened its two-child policy, Chinese women are facing increasing pregnancy pressure. However, a group of young women who yearn for independence and free life are trying to get rid of this constraint. And you know, all sorts of stuff. So it's just interesting. Then I'm talking about my house being over budget. This is what I said. I like this lady's self-confidence. So this is a woman delivering a presentation, and she has a presentation is, all white people are racist. PayPal me. You know? And so I was like, I want the self-confidence. PayPal me in big print as I call white people racist to their face. Unhealthy embodiment, so on and so forth. Free to consume is not freedom. So that's Sicily telling me free to consume. So I say, look, free to consume is not freedom. The language can always be evolved, but we're not exactly responsible for how we're living. And this is me. This is what it looks like in Africa right now. If you go to a remote place, all you're going to see is banana trees and good houses. Or banana trees and bad houses. You know? Anyway. Alright, so, sorry, I'm thing. Anyway, so, that's pretty much it. The amount of black people I've witnessed. Oh yeah, so some people saying about thing. Let's see, the whites are fighting in plain view again. White people are fighting, blah blah blah. This was an interesting video I also wanted to go into. This was probably the reason why I think. So basically this guy, look at this video right here.
whites are fighting for this was an interesting thing I was wanting to go into as well. I read these one thing. So basically, bro, hey, come here, man. Come here. Hey! Look at this thing. Bro, get up, bro. Go outside. What is wrong with you? Bro, you really just threw the whole PlayStation, bro. Babe! He just threw the fucking PlayStation. Corner, bro! Bro, go upstairs.
Alright, so now most people are looking at this video and they're like, these kids were trash. Right? But I'm like this. As uncomfortable as it is to be seen as sexist, there's a huge need in men and women to think differently about their roles. The children are seen as bad, but look at this man. He's sitting around in a silk bathrobe, fooling children and bothering their mother on discipline. My only guess is that they aren't his children, and in not being their father, he plays no role in their discipline. So it's almost a joke that he's even there, right? Like it's almost a joke because it's like, what are you pranking these kids for? One. Two, why don't you have any sort of disciplinary role with these children? Like, why are they so comfortable with you that they can just disrespect you? And after they disrespect you, all you could do is be like, babe. And she's like, she's so frustrated with your lack of masculinity. She's like, what? What do you call it? Like, and she's like, what? Like, exasperated what? Like, ugh, why are you calling me? And he's like, they did this, blah, blah, blah. Like, and then it's like, yeah, if that's the role that you're playing as a man, yeah, you're not going to have a good relationship. Like, just off of that, you're not going to have a good relationship. I want people to, like, see that. Because if you don't see that, you don't see that. But it is what it is. Let me, I'm trying to rush. I got, like, everybody kind of logged off. I got zero. Anyway, so, writing on gender. So I did write, I think this is actually pretty much it. So I did write this. This is the passage I wrote on gender. You guys should just pause the video and just watch this when you can. Okay? Pause the video and watch this when you can. And read this when you can. But basically, there's a scientific justification for why you would physically limit the movement of women. Now, some people will say they don't like. For instance, Cicely raises a good point that she doesn't like the phraseology of children limit women, right? And I think that's a fair point. So I did edit it so that it looks less like that. But that's pretty much it, actually. So I think these are all the posts coming up today. I think I was recommending some video game. Brother Tyler, again, talking about alcohol. He says, not consuming alcohol is the key. You do not want to destroy yourself, but build up yourself and others. And again, remember, the Muslims are like, do not drink alcohol too. Then there's this video. Oh, this video is actually pretty important. You guys should listen to it when you can. Basically, this guy is just ad hominem. But he's basically saying they don't want to, like, Israel does not want a two-state solution because in a two-state solution, if the Palestinians could vote, they would vote for Hamas. And so, in that sense, they don't want the Palestinians to be free to vote for their own interest. And so, my question is, and of course, to what they conceive their own interest. And so, the question becomes, well, then why can you vote for in elections? Like, why doesn't anybody mind when you vote? Because you don't necessarily have a political party that's serious about changing things. This is some guy in Ghana who's like, I changed my workers like I changed my boxers because they steal and lack work ethic. And I thought that was a pretty interesting description. Somebody else says, look, in Ghana they had the same experience. I could say, like, and I just make a socialist joke or whatever. This was another one. Some white woman started on the thing, and then we're kind of getting to, the last few days. The big difference between whites and blacks is how whites. Oh yeah, whites look out for whites and blacks look out for whites. You know, if I'm beating on a white boy, whites and blacks will look out for him. And if somehow a white boy is beating me, some black knucklehead is looking out for whitey. You know what I mean? Unfortunately. Then there's this. I think this is pretty interesting too. This guy says you need a partner who can acknowledge how badly they hurt you. If they can't acknowledge it or they minimize it, justify it, try it or whatever. And it's like, why would I want a partner that hurts me? Blah 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 blah. This is also really interesting too. So this person says, if hard work, and this is something that a lot of anti-capitalists say, they say, if hard work equals success, why is it that the hardest workers also happen to be the most destitute, and those that work the least own all the profit? Capitalist propaganda really has the masses on a chokehold. Now again, you have to misunderstand this. It depends on what you call hard work. If you equate stocking shelves as hard work, then obviously hard work doesn't equal success. If you equate getting a bunch of people to stock shelves for you is hard work, then yeah, hard work can lead to success, right? You know, the assumption that business, like organizing a business, isn't hard, it's like, okay, if it's not that hard, then do it. You know, go back to the automatics joke. Why did you do it? You know? And then I think the movie, Yusuf Hawkins, Shoot the Breeze last night. Yeah, somebody was on that guy's case. I just say the Americans are a thing. I think this was the last tweet I made before. Yeah, the last tweet I made was somebody says F this religion, F this religion, F this religion, F this religion, and only this religion was flagged as hateful speech. You know, but there's a reason. So I said, this is why ideology discussion is a distraction. What is a greater purpose for your belief system? Ideologies and religions blind you to the greater purpose. And that's pretty much it. So that's the podcast. I think I went kind of long. I'm kind of hungry now. But thanks everybody for listening. 3 hours and 30 minutes of me just ranting and rambling to myself. But, you know, I got 3 likes, so that's good. But thanks, fam. Maybe I'll do some other content for next week. Maybe I'll look into that other stuff. But other than that, I'll talk to you guys in the next year. But of course, make sure you guys listen to the other podcasts. Brother Bakari, maybe Revolutionary Matron if she comes back. Shoot the Breeze, Forecast, you know, Consider Cheeks, whomever else. Oh, Harsh Reality. Make sure you guys listen to those people. But other than that, thanks to everybody for joining. And of course, I hope you enjoyed it. Shemi Motep, Anku Jas, the Neb Neb, Amen, Ma'at, Dua, Nature.